Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever in this world. I'm Execute, joined today by Algared. Welcome, the Inforunners. I said that all backwards and back to the front, but I am tired, so I'm allowed to. How you doing, buddy? He did turn up. It turns out, what were you doing, Algared? What homework assignment I gave you that I completely forgot about?
You said, if you get up early, look up law on the Raven. So I thought, okay, I'll do that. So I'm sitting there doing the law on the Raven, waiting for my camera to load and everything else. And the next says, oh, he's late, he's not here.
Yeah, and then I rang him on the phone, and he didn't answer, but he
and
heard
I
it, and
went,
he's like, oh shit, it's X.
That's just X, I'm just ignoring it.
Nothing important.
Nothing important, it's just Execute. I can ignore that.
All right. So do you know, you obviously know why I got you to do your homework.
Well, no, I didn't.
Right.
I just figured you wanted to talk about it.
Right.
And so I figured, oh, well, I'll look it up because the Raven is a unique ship in itself. And lots of people actually don't realise it is an info, which makes it an interesting ship.
All right, so there's, there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. Right, this is the. So I'm going to open them in tabs. Is it going to let me do that? Yes, it is. All right, cool. So this.
Let me actually pop out the stream so I can see what you're talking about, because I haven't done that yet because I was still kind of gathering the bits of breadcrumbs that I had dug up.
I'm trying to find the other one I downloaded, but I can't find it. Hang on, I put it here somewhere. Give me a second. It's now this third image. Give me a second. It's like I'm not prepared, but I was prepared. I saved all this shit, but now I can't find it. Hang on. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. All right, here we go. Got them all. All right, let's kick it across. See, you watch this all break. No, it worked. All right, cool. So they dropped this on Twitter yesterday. And it, that's just all they did. And someone on Reddit, and I didn't save that one, but someone on Reddit actually took the normal Raven and laid it across this one. And I probably could go try and find that one, but it looked a little different to me.
Well, the Raven does have its bits and pieces chopped out. It is more. It is supposed to be stealthy anyway. Yeah. In fact, it's stealthy than the other Ravens. I did notice that the Raven or the Sabres were developed in the Davion system, which is where Aegis is headquartered. The teaser video that they put out in 2017 had the Raven in a Aegis test facility in an abandoned region of the Davion system. So keeping it hush-hush, secret. It was launched as part of Intel Optane's SSD drives. So, SSD? Yeah, the solid state drives. So, and the idea of it, the key role of this was to be a fast, safe, secure, silent delivery system. And so, with all that in mind, that's why it's stealthy. And that's also why its avionics suite was updated to include storage facilities for having stuff. So, and it's got 2 EMPs, which replace the missile bays on the internals of the ship. Right. So it's quite a unique ship in many ways. Do I expect now the Raven as we've got it is a promotion tool? So I doubt whether we can actually have a because it's tied to that promotion, whether they'll be able to give us that make it open to everybody. But I do expect we'll see a variant of that Raven that's basically the same stats, same everything, but it's not quite the Intel.
You tell me. I don't know if that's solid or not, but that looks solid to me. That wing area looks solid, or it could not be. But do you know what I mean? Like, well,
I think on the standard Ravens it is. I think on the standard Sabres it is. But on the Raven it's not. They were taking that away to give it less.
Yeah. So I don't know where I saw this, and I think I was in a chat last night. I think it might have been on Board Gamers chat. Someone said they've mentioned that it is a gold pass on the standard Raven. So it might not be anything new at all. It might be something new. but combined with this one here, where it had something about the G12, it got my mind ticking over. You know what I'm like, I get into speculation 101.
You go down the rabbit.
Yeah, and then I need to go here, hang on. I started going, you know what I do when I start to look at the dates and stuff, because we've seen this before too, where, yeah, look at this image, so this one here.
Yeah.
Right, so, God, it's not gonna, no, it's gonna open in a different window, thank you very much. No, yeah, you can see it, but no one else can see it. Okay. Hang on, I need to.
He's pulling up the Invictus program.
Yeah. They can see. They can see the small version. It just open link in new window. Well, that no. All right, yeah, that'll work. And then if I copy this, close this, put it here, paste. Sort of. No. All right.
That is a possibility that each of those main days there's a new ship or a new something.
Yeah, I don't think it's each day. I think it's every second one.
Yeah.
So what? So I think.
I think what he means by each day means each time there's a.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking. Let me speak for myself. So RSI and Origin, 2 vehicles, and then you've also got the Argo one. Then we're getting something for the Raven. My thought was we don't have anything like a big vehicle or anything like that. What about Drake? So it's every second day.
And that's assuming that Mirai doesn't come out with.
I think that's coming with the. I think that's coming with the patch.
And I think it's coming when the patch actually drops, but rather than as part of Invictus. But
well, you can kind of tell that it's been later than they expected, because they're not going to run Xeno Threat and this. Well, they could, but I wouldn't run them both at the same time, because it'd just be too stressful on the servers.
I could see it possibly being a plan to look at it that way, to have this event as becoming a spoiler to Invictus. You know, it fits in with Xeno Threat's kind of being, I think, cheesed off Meserite military, neo Meserites.
Yeah. I've got to ask someone in. I've got to ask someone in chat. See, Ultra Squall 23 says Aegis Firebird or Aegis Phoenix. Where did you hear that? I can't find anything about references to that at all. I've heard several people mention it. Animation Zyla confirmed Guardian won't be coming in. Yeah, we knew that. Yeah, we heard that on Twitter. So,
Give Javelin to buy so many new ships. Well, I think part of it is filling the backlog. Like, yes, we know the Ursa's not really a new ship. Well, it's a new ship, but it's not really filling backlog. It's just fleshing out that design. The Pulse is a new ship, but G12 is actually completing backlog. Yeah. I think it's part of that, fleshing out stuff that's easy to do, and filling in those holes of the line they've already got, as well as filling in the backlog.
Yeah.
And if lots of ships, great. If it's not lots of ships, then it doesn't matter, as far as I'm concerned, you know. So I just dread the expansion at the end of the year.
Apparently, there we go. So someone said, apparently the devs have been tweeting Phoenixes. Well, I'm going to do what you probably shouldn't do in a live stream, and I'm going to go onto Twitter, and I want to see some of these, because I haven't seen delete shit.
Right. No, well, I don't read Twitter.
No, I have to, because it's just a part of. They all use Twitter. Like,
yeah, I know. I try to avoid it, and every so often I go there because there's a link. But
here's another one. Let's start speculating. Okay. New racer. Well, there's an 80% chance. Well, there's some speculation for you.
An 80% chance there's a new racer, huh?
Yeah, I feel like replying, there's an 80% chance you're full of shit. Where do you pull that from? But, well, I don't know. Like,
well, given that it's
give me receipts.
Like, if I was looking at a ship in the Razor range that was going to be a racer, the Raven does fit that bill.
Yeah.
It was designed to be, you know, just thinking of the design specs that it was supposed to have. It's supposed to be fast. It's supposed to be agile. It's supposed to be stealthy. It's supposed to be quick. it relied on its speed to get its information when they want it. It relied on its EMPs to actually get it out of trouble.
Sorry.
It was lightly armored in terms of weapons. So, in terms of compared to other ships, and yet the Raven is a space superiority fighter.
Yeah.
So it really does. It really isn't strange. The only thing I could find the Galactopedia doesn't have a post on the Raven.
Yeah.
I did check that.
Yeah, so I can't. Apparently, Tyler Wilkin posted this. Here we go. So that's a pretty.
They're reworking the RSI Phoenix.
But it's an Aegis ship.
So there's a cross-company collaboration. A military version of the Aegis Phoenix, there you go, the RSI Phoenix. And we know that Tyler's a massive troll anyway, so...
Yeah, I hope it's not another Phoenix because of the constellation Phoenix, let's be honest.
I hope they don't do another Phoenix.
Yeah. But if it's Phoenix with an F, or... yeah, so this is called the Firebird, though, isn't this car?
Oh, I think it was.
Yeah, so that would be cool. All right, I can say, okay, because I can see now where people pull this from, because I was starting to wonder where the hell they were pulling these names from. I'm like, yeah. But, Aegis Firebird, $250, punches above its weight class. Yeah, scary. Scarily that I could believe that.
That sounds oh so very much like...
Yeah.
Star Citizen marketing. Everything punches above its weight class.
Yes. Yes, this is true. Right, I need to get the bot going. I still haven't done that after all this time. Give me a sec. Stream questions. Here we go. /start. So we'll get those questions in from you guys. Should be coming in any second. What is going? I'll give that a second to put some questions in. Yeah, so, and then the other thing I wanted to go over is this one. So this was, a few people saved this off Reddit. This popped up on the site, but most of the text is gibberish.
Yes.
And it's an old picture of the G12.
I did notice most of the text was gibberish, and I was going, what the hell is this? But it does, and thank you for that $2 of Super Chat, Ultra Squall.
The emojis are right above the teaser picture.
Yeah,
fire. Oh yeah, hang on. I gotta read them now. Hang on, Star Citizen. Fire and bird. Yeah. Good call. Thank you, Ultra Squall.
Thank you, Ultra
and
Squall.
thank you for the super chat as well.
Yeah, most appreciated. One way to guarantee we see your message.
It definitely did that. Yeah, thank you, man.
Never required.
Yeah.
Never required, never expected, but always appreciated. But yeah.
Yeah, okay. Firebird. I think we can all safely assume that that's a variant of the Raven because people have been calling for it, Algared, and I think that's how they've stepped around it. Do you know, simply, could it not just be the Raven, but a different skin like the Mustang Omega?
Well, when the Mustang Omega came out, they were totally different ships. So the original Omega
one just had a booster and one didn't.
No, they both had boosters. One had an extra booster.
That's yeah.
One had the extra fuel scoop and the booster. So it meant because it had the extra fuel scoop, it could actually boost almost indefinitely. So that was the Omega.
Yeah.
When they changed that flight model, that became almost irrelevant. And so when they were reworking them and taking skids and putting in landing, I hate the way they put the landing gear on.
Oh yeah, you and I talk about that until the cows come home. Especially because the very next ship was the very next ship was the Nomad. That's why we hate it so much too, because the Nomad had the skids. It's like they took it off that.
And they said, "Oh no, we're taking these off because blah blah blah." And what do? They bring up the next ship with
hover skids essentially. So it's like, well, why didn't you just make it hover skids?
But with the Mustang, when they reverted back, they actually changed it, and they actually did just make it a skin. So I don't think it's kind of necessarily the same. But they could. They could do that. They could just reskin it and change a component. The Raven does have two small shields, two small computers, small power plants.
So Jock Cop's done a super chat there.
Yep.
Thank you very much. He says, so what would you want from a Raven variant? And that's kind of where my brain starts to go, and I can see where Crunchy's gone into racing, but I don't see why you would necessarily need a racing variant of a ship like that. And I kind of look at what the other one does with the EMP. My brain is going to what happened with the Mustang, right? With the Amiga, and it's just because people wanted it and they knew it will sell. And they've been, look at the track record of what's happened over the last 6 months. We've had the F7A, we've had the F8 Lightning. They know people want the Raven, so how do they do a Raven? They give us a skinned Raven.
They know people want the Raven, but to say it's like the Mustang is totally wrong, because the Mustang Gamma was out before the Amiga. And so the Amiga, which is the special skin, is
okay. Semantics aside, yes, semantics aside, they are now the same, right? So that's what I'm trying to point out. That said, though, I start to think of things like what people are saying in chat. QED would be really cool too. So instead of an EMP variant, it's a QED variant. And we lost him. He'll be back in a second. Yeah, someone guessed a QED. I go into the name though, like the Firebird. Like I instantly think of the car, right? And the like speed and racing as well. So I can see where Crunchy's gone down the racing track as well. But do we need another racer? Like that's the other thing I put out there. I don't think we really do. Like they, Oh shit, we had a raid. I didn't even notice. Shit. First time shout out. Who's the raid? Who was the raid? Aldo Brink. Thank you, Aldo, for the Brink. Sorry, mate, missed all that. We were caught up in specation.
Caught up in argument on ships. Because we like talking ship, and when you get us talking ship, that's it. You go off onto tangents.
Some of this one. So thank you, Aldo. Sorry about that, mate. I apologise. But yeah, thank you.
I think the problem I get with a Raven variant. The Raven is an Inforunner. That's it. It's fast. Yep. It's sleek. It's stealthy. Its avionics suite is a storage compartment.
Yeah.
There's not much you can really do to that, which changes that aspect. I could see possibly a QED working in terms of you're stopping the target getting away, so you can actually suck the info out of it.
Can you imagine the thing off the Mantis, but inside both those wings, so it had two of them? But that would be two QEDs, so pointless.
Well, the EMP in the Raven is actually stored in the internal missile bays underneath, and that would be where you'd have to put the QEDs to make it work.
You would.
I could see that working as a way to stop the target getting away, so you can suck the info. But the Raven is too underarmed to be able to function like the EMPs work because you zap the guy chasing you, and then you run away.
You know what I've just realised though? Because of the red theme of it and the red of QED, that's where I'm going now. And think about it; it's called the Firebird. They've been linking images of the Phoenix and stuff like that. So you can imagine this with the red off the Mantis. I can see it now. I really can. I think it might be QED.
I could see a variant with a QED. I struggle with the idea of it still being a Raven with the storage capabilities and other stuff, even though I could see
it's probably not a data runner, but my point stands out because think about the EMP and the blueness of that, and that lines up perfectly, and then all of a sudden this is red, and I'm talking visually lines up, right? So, I'm going QED. I think it's the QED.
But the second you second you go a Raven that's got, or a Saber that's got a QED rather than EMPs, and it doesn't have infra running, it's not the Raven variant, but it's not a Raven that everyone wants. It's just another Saber. It might look similar, but it's a totally different ship. It's not like oh, if I got a Gamma, I've got a Mustang Amiga. It's just a different skin. It's a totally different ship with totally different features. And so
they did
if you're
say
after a Raven,
they did
you
say
actually
in
want to have those.
so they did say in the monthly reports though that they had been working on 2 new variants that had just been completed.
Yeah,
there's one
that could be a very good variant.
yeah,
That they're looking at.
what was the other one? Racer, and then the last one was I'll just call it reskinned Raven. That's what I call it.
Yep. The thing that I think prevents them doing a reskinned Raven or a Raven per se and releasing a Raven further all depends on what that promotional contract they had with Intel was. If that is ironclad and they can't do anything, then they can't do anything. It's, you know, but if it's got some scope, or they've rediscussed those conditions, I'd be happy for them. You know, like I know some people would say, "Oh no, that's my limited ship." I'd be happy for another Raven. I'd be happy for the Raven to be out.
Yeah,
I don't mind people having it. A racing version, yeah, I could see a racing version of the Saber. It's supposed to be fast. It's supposed to be stealthy. It's supposed to be quick. And certainly the Raven is supposed to be even quicker and stealthier and faster and more agile.
Yeah.
Speed and agility seem to be hallmarks that you want in a racer. So if it really is fast and agile, having a racing variant makes perfect sense.
Right. So out of the gate, QED is at 59%, Reskin Raven is at 31%, and Racer is at 10%, and we've done 51 votes already. So that's like a quarter of the people watching on YouTube.
If you were turning a Raven into a racer, what would you do?
On Twitch, we've got Reskin Ravens. Oh, they've only got 3 votes, so give them a minute. They're a bit slow on Twitch. Yeah. No, I was slow because I took a minute to get it out there.
So if you were turning a Raven into a racer, what would you do?
Yeah, I just don't think we need it. That's the thing. Like, we just got so many races as it is, and there's just not enough. Yeah, I think it's a bit tone deaf, to be honest with you. Like, and they did a poll, recent. I think it was recently or a while ago on racing, and racing was the least thing people were interested in. It was literally like down to like 5% out of all the votes. So, yeah, I think you need people are after other gameplay. They don't come.
Oh, I think people want other gameplay because everyone wants more gameplay. I know that sounds really dumb to say we want more gameplay, but you know what I mean. We want more loops. I actually to go back onto the
so there's little thing. So hang on, there's people saying things like they want more ground vehicle racing and stuff like that. I'm gonna be honest. I think the next real racing thing we're gonna see is the ST. So the Zeus ST, the Guardian and stuff like that. And I've got a feeling if you were gonna do more events to sell stuff out, right? You've got Invictus and you've got AIE, and they know they've got a couple of ships there to sell. I'd almost expect 3 months from now we'll see some kind of drop, and they'll do like the Zeus ST and surprise they've been working on the ST the whole time along with the other variants.
I actually think CIG always intended to run the Murray Cup as a competition.
Eventually, yeah.
Right, they always intended to do that. When we started the Crux Cup back in 2014, 2015, Sandy said, "You guys have beaten us by 4 to 5 years." I think she said 4 years was what they were kind of planning at the time, and then life, the universe, and everything in it threw those out. But I think they always intended to do the Murray Cup, always, as an esport. They always. I think that's somewhere CIG always wanted to head to that esporty type aspect.
Okay, if you find someone in chat said for me to do that, if you can link that to me or someone link it to me via Discord, I will look. But like I just did that, and there's so many. So yeah. The other thing we've got to talk about is a night vision scope in yesterday's thing. So I
Yeah, I
finally,
saw people talking about that. I was so what? I don't care.
well, it was obvious to me and you that it was eventually coming. It's just a cart before the horse. They've got other priorities.
I think we need the night vision scope because the Copians have night vision.
Yep. Well,
And
playing the game at night, I just always assume we're eventually getting night vision. It's just they've got other priorities. So, do you think this means we're getting the G12 at Invictus?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a very big tip of the hat. Did they ever talk about it on the roadmap or anything like that?
I can't recall ever seeing on the roadmap. But you know, do I really pay attention of when things are supposed to be due or that?
Well, it's kind of been turned off.
I look
for the last...
occasionally and hope, but
it's turned off for the last. Oh, by the way, while I've got you here because you've been so busy, can you go into our private chat and put in your damn dates? I've got everyone else's, but not yours. You lazy slack old man.
I put in the dates, but you actually put on there and said, and this would be the day for us. And you went, it's too confusing.
Well, because you went, because you went date, and then you said Australia, and it confused me. I just wanted the dates, as in
date
American.
Is the date you put.
Yeah.
The day is the day it is for us.
Just again, type it in front of private.
Date is the date you put.
No. Just give me the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st. Like everyone else that did it in English, you had to go fancy, and you confused the shit out of me. Right? I even got locans before yours. Like that's unheard of. Like, do you know how hard locan is to get a hold of? Anyway, all right. The poll just finished. So QED is 55%. 54% on YouTube. That's pretty consistent, Algared. 1% difference. Reskin Raven is 35% versus 33%. Wow, I've never seen Twitch and YouTube so close. And 13 and 13 versus 10 on the Racer.
Yes, Jock Cop, domestic argument.
Yes,
he's like that all the time. So abusive.
No, I've got to organise. It's like herding cattle. Like they're
abusive all the time.
Just so slow. Anyway, okay. I think I can see the QED. I can see the fire thing from the Mantis. It makes a lot of sense. We're going into bounty hunting and stuff like that. I'm on the QED train.
I could see a QED as a Saber variant. I could see that working. I wouldn't call it a. I could see that being a variant, but for bounty hunting, it wouldn't be a Raven variant because the Raven is a bounty hunting.
Would you consider this unlikely? But what if we got two variants of that?
Oh, if we got two variants, if they're able to put out a Raven or a Saber variant, but is an infra running ship that's similar to a Raven, great. If it's got the same stats as a Raven, great.
That said,
if we're allowed to, I'm happy for them to do it.
That said, I think it's only one because the Raven's a bird and the Firebird, obviously its variants are bird themed.
Yep.
So if they've only mentioned one bird, I'd say one variant.
Yeah. But if they're able to bring out the Raven as not limited ship, that's not a new ship. That's just making it available to everyone. And then you bring out your Firebird version with the QED.
Nathan Whitney's gone, it's going to be a fire truck. Yes.
Yes, fire
Good boy, Nathan. Yes, it's going to be a fire truck. Right.
Yep.
You go back and play in the sandpit now with the other kids. Right. No, I shouldn't be condescending like that. But yeah, I actually, me and Algared have actually talked about space fire trucks and
ages ago.
What was it? Decompression vehicles and stuff like that. So if there's a blowout, something that comes along and reseals it and stuff.
Refill the, seal the decompression, all that stuff for rescue ships. Yeah. Now, you did say you wanted to go back to the video and talk about the night scopes, but I was also thinking.
I've got two more things to mention on this, and then I'll get off this screen. So we obviously know we're also getting the medical Ursa.
Yep.
And the MPUV, so they'll both come on that day, and the G15, right? Now you do that, that's vehicle day. And they know vehicles are not kind of beloved, but if you got 3 on the one day...
Well, The other thing is we may not get an Argo. It may be the Argo is actually showing that modularity, which could mean we're getting the Retaliator with the modularity as well. So
No. Well,
yeah, I know you're talking day one.
Could it be militarized and it's an Aegis MPV?
It could be, but again, if you're talking, you've got the Ursa, you've got the G12. If you've got two vehicles, you could get an Argo military version, or you could get an Argo that's got the modularity coming, and so they're actually focusing on the modularity, which would time with.
So that means you'd get the.
Either way,
that means you'd get the Firebird and the Retaliator on Aegis Day.
Yep.
I can't think of anything for this day.
I mean, for the MISC
Crusader. I just want to call it Clusterfuck Day. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, that
SPV.
Yeah, that day, and then Anvil don't have anything. So that's where my theory kind of in my brain went was day, skip, and possibly day at the end. But the one clear thing we're kind of missing, but then again, last year broke that convention is we usually had a small, medium, large type of thing, right? 3 price points, right? There's only 2 price points right now. There's essentially vehicles, $50 range, and then this thing will be. I'm going to be realistic. Like it was 175 for the Raven off the top of my head, or was it 170, something like that?
You're looking 200.
Yeah, I reckon we're looking around 200 because it also makes it $50 more than the Mantis.
Now, here's a bit of speculative thing tying on your last day, because you're saying we don't have anything on the last day. Anvil's the last day.
No. Drake's the last day.
Well, the second last day. Drake's kind of separate from a con, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Anvil, teased for years, the Anvil capital ship. And also being teased recently is a Drake Corvette. So both of those.
That's where I was going with what John Crew said. Drake Corvette, and they do a concept for it.
So there's 2 big ships that have been teased. One, the Anvil capital ship for years, and the Drake Corvette. So
Citizen Ninja brought this up. That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, okay. I've just had a couple of good points on Twitter. Not Twitter, Twitch. Right. So they said Mirai Pulse for Mirai Day, but no, because technically the Pulse is already in the patch, right? And the other things are not in the patch. So that means the Pulse was intended for 323, not for Invictus, right? Yeah. So that was not intended in here, right? And then he said for Anvil Day, the F7A. That kind of all of a sudden does make something on every day if you do the math. Or every second day, you get my point.
Well,
right?
If they want to do something on every day, it's possible the STV could be available.
Okay, yeah, that's a really good point. The F7A, I totally forgot about that. Because they're going to sell that. Let's be honest. They're going to give it to us for free that did it, like all us casuals, but all the filthy normies that turn up, I don't know what else to call them.
Filthy normies, eh?
F7A Mark II. Okay. I could possibly see it, and what Algared? What if they did this, pulling shit out my ass, another Pulse variant? Because all the other bikes have come with 3 variants. Then you got 2. Then again, it's Miro. That's all we've had is racing and combat.
Well, you got the G12 NFAT. If that was an official CIG leak of the G12 with that gibberish, that is a racing variant. We know there are 4 other variants, so. But
it's not on that. Again, I'm trying to put them on the days, so that's on this day.
At day one, that just lays it. And the other thing with putting the vehicles on day one.
I'm going to throw this out there. You're going to hate me. I don't want to get hopes up. The Ranger.
Yeah, the Ranger. It's the STV.
Well, the Ranger was in the back of an ISC video like 8 months ago at this point.
Yep. If you put vehicles on day one, you're giving everyone a slaver of LTI tokens.
I think there's a slather of LTI tokens already.
Right, there's a slaver of LTI tokens on day one. Yes,
even the Firebird's not even like again, like there's just nothing there that you and I would recommend someone keep. Like the Firebird's going to sell a heap, but I can tell you right now, eventually people will turn that into something else.
Yeah, look, people, you know, I could see people keeping the F7A, but you keep the F7A Mark 1 or the F7A Mark 2.
Well, I think most people are going to go to 2 at the end of the day. The only one that people are going to want is that of the Mark 1 is the military variant. You know,
yeah. And where I get frustrated with, you know, you've sold the mega packs with all these Hornets and everything else is Mark 1s, and now you basically have, by bringing out a Mark 2, you've actually just said, yeah, they're rubbish. And so anyone who bought the game early, anyone who bought those back in the game and got all those early, thank you, CIG, you've screwed them.
Yeah.
You know, realistically, if you've updated the ship and brought out Mark 2 that's so much better than Mark 1, anyone who bought a Mark 1 has been shafted.
Chat is fully funny, fuckers. What's his name? Endo is saying Drake interplanetary parachute. Yeah, just a garbage bag. Woo!
Yeah, well, Origin had the first parachute. You'll remember from the 100i. Was it 100i launch where they had the little parachute guys in the back picture?
The glider, yeah.
I think guys coming down, so the paragliders.
I think it was the 100i. Yeah, I think you were right.
So
I think eventually we'll get things like that for sure, or especially with the way the atmospheric flight's going. I think you'll get little things like that for fun. Yeah, so yeah, they're the 2 I struggle with. Well, really, the only just Mirai and DefenseCon. But again, they can do whatever they want, and generalistically speaking, the way they've done these in the past is there's usually like a week apart. If they only do 2 vehicles, they're usually a week apart. But we know that there's more than that. Like just looking at that first day, there's essentially 3 things that can drop on that first day. It's kind of crazy. Okay. There's a good one. Major Sai said modules for the Caterpillar. Highly doubt it, or even just talking about a rework for the Caterpillar would be sick. Maybe they're just talking about things on each day. That could be cool. Possible. Yeah, I guess we'll kind of know after the first day, won't we?
I did suggest the other day that on Drake Day there could be modularity for the Caterpillar, and you poo-pooed the idea straight away. Might come suggested now, you go, oh yeah, that's an idea. You just hate my ideas, that's what it is.
Yeah, I just hate you, because you're a pain in the ass. No, what I'm talking about is someone clip that. I meant it more as in not new stuff coming out, but maybe a concept and talking about it, and that's what I thought of then when Major.
I would like to see that type of thing, only because it fills in the backlog. It fills in stuff that's been waiting. My concern for the Cat though is I think we actually do need it. It needs a rework. There's a whole lot there going on that.
Hang on, Agri, we're losing that. Just real quick. Hellraiser did a $10 super chat. He says, "Here's to you both. I've followed your channel for years. Enjoy a Cooper's Pale Ale on me. Cheers. One note, I'm wondering if the Zeus Mark II MR, so the Marky Mark, will eventually get something nice, flashier than a Cuddy Blue." Yeah, we talked about this a lot, and this video has come up a fair bit in the last couple of days. I got that the ship killer one that we talked, the one where we did all the comparisons and had it all laid out in the grid and all that shit, because there's people going back now looking at the Zeus variants because they're kind of coming up, and I brought up that whole thing of that there is no base variant, and that's why the Spirit looks like a sack of shit, but it's not.
It really does. When you look at the Galaxy, the Zeus, you've got that. When we looked at it, we were going, where's the base variant? You've got an Explorer, you've got a Combat, you've got a
essentially Freelancer Max is what the CL is, but there's no base variant. So when you line it up against the Spirit, the Cutter, and the Freelancer, they all have a base variant.
Yeah, and you go, gee, the Spirit looks so crap against the ship that's the same size, because
and so there are all the direct competitors were kind of like the variants of the others. So that's when we kind of went, no base variant. There isn't one.
I wonder if that's what the ST really was going to be.
I think the ST is probably going to go up. I think one of the other, so the Guardian, obviously when that comes out, you'll get like a Combat and a Racer variant of that. It's pretty self-explanatory from what we've seen from the rest of the Miro stuff, unless you get a missile variant in there as well. I think one of the other ships in there, or all of them, might be getting a racing variant. Because I could see that. Can you not see a Spirit racer, a Cutter racer, and a Freelance racer? I could see it in a heartbeat.
I could see a racing variant of every ship. Every ship in the game.
Eventually, yeah.
Because the idea, and it's just like, people take their car and they tinker with it and they soup it up and they put it in the rallies, they put it in the... look at those... those the races that go all across Australia, or the Day My Rally. That run across Australia, they have old cars going in that with just getting bashed to bits by the Australian environment. I can't see why you wouldn't do it, especially for the class of the ship. And Strike, I know in Anzio Racing, we're going to have every ship. If you've got a ship and you want to race it, we will have a class for you to race that ship. Yeah. So I can't see CIG not doing that as well, because they want people to be able to fly their ships and do everything, and that's one way to enable you to do everything. Have a variant of, to enable you to put the components in or change the configuration to make it a racer. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, we don't have long to wait now. We've got a week.
No. In a couple of days.
It's I also think based on what they've been doing on Twitter as well. I should go back and show you that Algared real quick. Hang on. So on Twitter, if I can go on to Star Citizen, hopefully they've got it here relatively quickly. They've been posting things like this. Now, if you combine this with the one they put on Facebook, because they're different proportions, it's the medical Ursa or the Nursa. See the tire on the left, and that's the back door of the Ursa, but it's in red. Yeah. So. Medical. Yeah. So if they do a couple of those, I assume they might do one on 5 days and one on whatever. But we might get some hints to the other stuff that's coming.
Yeah, I think that's a dead set giveaway for the Ursa. What's the pic underneath?
The what?
The picture underneath that one.
It's Algared staring into the abyss, or me thinking about why Algared asks silly questions about pitch photos that don't make...
I'm looking at a very small picture on your screen.
Right, here you go, look. Just for you. There we go.
And I was just wondering whether he was approaching a ship, and I was just wondering what it was. But
this is Old Man Hurston getting lost. Yeah, that's what it is.
No, because that's Crusader in the background.
Yeah, he's lost.
Old Man Hurston would never hang around on Crusader because it's a disgusting place. Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of teasers there. We'll have to see what kind of pops.
There are a lot.
Right.
So going back to ISC.
Yep.
And the creatures. I actually realised the one thing that CIG were really pushing and teasing there was big game hunting.
Yep. Quite a bit, actually.
And I thought, what did we suggest ages ago about animals? Big game hunting. And what did people say we were? They said we were crazy and off our rocker.
Yeah. Makes sense though. Where's the food going to come from for cooking and all that shit? Like, I know you can grow some plants, but where's the meat come from? Someone's got to get the meat.
But I just thought it was as I was sitting there musing last night after work, and I thought, but everything they did in that video was hunting the animals to get the the pearl or get the horn. And that's just the start of... Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff you and I have done over the years that have been completely missed, but there's a lot of stuff we've done that is that's hit as well.
And I thought that was something we talked about, and people had said we were crazy.
Yeah. Well, remember when you and I did that episode that we spent months on, which was the modular rooms and stations and stuff? Well, that's essentially turned into the room system, and that's all starting to come true on a scale bigger than you and I even talked about. So,
I can remember looking at it and just going, well, in terms of player and facilities, the original, as a Million Mile High Club owner, the original thought that owners had was that would be the test bed for eventual player-owned and org-owned facilities in a very limited environment.
You need to recenter yourself on your camera too. You're off to one side.
But planet to
there we
planet
go.
To pupil change that, or pupil to planet change that. and
we've got.
and then they started doing the outposts, and I think that became the base.
Right, so I've got about a half a dozen questions. So yeah, get
Yep.
your questions in if you want to get them
Okay, so-
answered. So the first one is Drop Yogurt, who says, "Question: You fellas ever get to meet Paul in person before? I see he's going to CitizenCon. Yeah, he wasn't going to CitizenCon, and now he is. No, we've never met him before. But yeah, we are looking forward to it. And because now Paul's going, Space is trying to go as well. So we'll all be there, hopefully.
Well, I get the impression Space was already going, but the problem for Space was that whole visa.
Yeah, he because
he already had his tickets. Remember?
Yeah, because of stuff he got. His wife got stuffed around with the American stuff, so she's now kind of marked for life whenever she goes anywhere, which is really stupid. And it wasn't even her fault. It was a very. There's a content creator called Moist Critical, and he's been having problems with American customs over the last couple of weeks. Yep. He's trying to get Australian esports people into. There's 3 of them into America, and this guy's just rocking with his cock out, blocking him every chance he gets, and won't let him in. And like they got all this evidence, and they just say, "Oh, that's not real evidence. That person's made up. I don't believe what you're telling me." And he doesn't like verify it or anything. So these border agents have too much power, but they also don't check what the people are telling them. It's like, "Oh, I don't want to do the paperwork, so yeah, you're full of shit." That's what it sounds like. And anyway, so he's basically suing the US government over it. Anyway, long story short, that's the same thing that's happened to Space's wife. They just got branded by some dickhead, and with too much power. Anyway, so as for Paul...
I thought it was more that the issue they were having is because they're part of the EU and Britain did Brexit, they were kind of having issues with...
No, it's this thing that's been kind of branded on her passport, and so now whenever she goes to any of those Western countries, they have to check everything, because the United States branded them. They've been marked everywhere. It's really, really, really stupid. Anyway,
but so Paul is now going. He kind of succumbed to the people to say you're a nut if you don't go, basically.
Well, it was during so they had the 5th year celebration for Yacht Club, and heaps of people there messaged him. I wasn't harassing him about it. I really wanted him to come, but it wasn't me that got him there. It was all the other people harassing him at CitizenCon.
I can fully understand where he was saying it, because he was saying I can't afford it. It's bloody expensive.
Oh, he did a 24-hour live stream and got what he needed, and because of that, this is probably a good segue, Algared, is we've been doing our GoFundMe here, and what are we up to now? We're up to about 2,000. I'm the one that really needs most of the biggest help, but we need to get to 3,250, so we're about 1,250 short to get my butt there. But Algared and I were talking about doing a 24-hour live stream ourselves, so I don't know, kind of might do a poll on that, Algared, to see what people think, and I'll
24 hours plus arguing.
Yeah. Can we'll keep you awake. Of just us.
That's right. 24 hours of us doing our talk show radio.
Do you reckon we do 24 hours of questions? Do you reckon that's even possible?
Oh, when you were
mental mindfuck.
I did suggest we start with the ISC and go all the way through to the end of our live stream.
Yeah, but if we
more than 24 hours.
But if we did that, yeah, that'd be hard to do next week, because next week
we'll do it next week.
You'd roll straight into
it would have to be on one of the Fridays I'm off rather than a school day. But yeah, that would be something we could do, and then cut out the ISC as a separate episode anyway, and maybe even stop the pause.
Yeah.
Or make a second recording of our usual question and answer format, and just for the sake of the algorithm. But
so if you want to help us out, that's the biggest help at the moment, because it's a very big expense. We're literally going halfway across the world to get there, and as I said, we're about, well, for me specifically, I'm the real one that needs most of the help, but Algared would like some help as well if he can get it. The gear and stuff, the gear stuff here at the end, I went out of my way and I just bought it out of my own money. So I've already kind of brought that, but if I can get the last bit, that would really help me out.
Part of that stuff, but
I don't like asking for money, but it's a necessity for us to get there because we're also going. Just to put in perspective, as it says in here, it's like a 27-hour flight just from like Melbourne to London. But I've also got to fly further to get there. So the entire flight time without talking for breaks at airports and stuff is 29 hours, which is pretty insane. So yeah,
I think that the key thing is if we get the support to send us to CitizenCon, it says, okay, we're going to work.
Yeah.
Whereas we want to go cover CitizenCon anyway. But if we're going off our own back, then the onus is I'm going to go and enjoy myself rather than.
Yeah. I think that's why no one's streamed
I know
it.
that sounds really bad, but that's.
Yeah.
But that changes the focus, and I think that if we want to be able to report it, we want to be able to do it well, but there's also that element of it's a once in to get to England before that, it's effectively a once in a lifetime event for us.
Yeah.
Like I'd like to be able to say hi, I could go every year, but
we would have to be essentially 10 times the size we are now to get to that every time.
We'd have to have 10 times the income, but be able to do it all the time.
Yeah, no, it's a huge expense, and it's. I'm kind of dreading the thought of 29 hours, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm dreading the thought of the impact on my.
I'm gonna have so many videos queued up on my phone, and so.
And Rusty People Gaming channel, thank you for becoming a membership on our YouTube. Awesome.
Yeah,
much appreciated.
Yeah.
So I'd love to be able to do Manchester on an annual basis, but it's realistically, even the US every year, it would be beyond my budget as much as I would like to. So.
So Patrick,
anyway,
Patrick's asked a question that will be out of context if we don't know it now, so I'm going to redo this one now. He says, "Hope you all can go. Have you thought about doing shipskin gear raffles? Not that you need for us. Not that you need to for us to support. Just might be fun. We do have a bunch of ships there that we stockpile that CIG give us for things, but I think I don't know. I
certainly wouldn't want to be using those.
Yeah, for us, and we've seen other content creators do it, and I'm not a fan of what do you call it? Taken from Pete to give to Paul, or whatever you call it.
I think if we were doing a shipskin raffle, it would be something along the lines of we buy the skin and raffle it off, or if it was a rare skin,
or we pay for the ship and raffle it off, things like that.
So I could see that.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe we could do something like that, like a
raffle off Execute's hat. Yes.
I've got a hat over there. You can have the old Superman one's still over there. Yeah. But yeah, or maybe even this one I can sign it. Yep. Yeah. I'll send it up to Algared.
Raffle off old man.
Had it in dandruff. Here you go, Algared. Here's my dandruff hat. Yeah, and Algared can sign it too. But yeah, I don't know. So giving all the stuff to this Paul guy. Yeah, that was the thing that absolutely baffled me with Paul, Pissball Pete, was he literally covered it in 124-hour stream. I'm like, how the hell? Like, we've been here for months sitting here doing this, just casually doing it. He's like, 124-hour stream, done. I'm like, what? Yeah.
But
good on him. Good on him.
We don't plug it every day.
Algared. Name one of Algared's ships for $20. Cha-ching! With all the ships you have, would be done in half a minute.
Now, auction off the ability to name one of my ships. Yeah. And it has to be
an 890, like an 890 jump.
Yeah. I've only got one 890 jump.
Exactly.
No, it's called the Gun. That's not changing. I'm sorry.
He's already named it.
It's already named.
Maybe one of the 600 eyes or something. Yeah.
Named after the Afghans.
My 600 eye that I picked up was called the Stuffed Pig because as soon as I got the skins off it, I stuffed it back into buyback. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Well, mine's a gun named after which is
the train
named after the Across Australia train, one of the trains that go across Australia, but it's not that called the gun named after the Afghan camels that we used to cross the Australian deserts way back. So I thought that was an appropriate name for my 890 jump.
Yeah. All right. So next question. Hell Regen Animation says, "Isn't the Saber and the Raven kind of similar?" Yeah, they are. One's a variant of the other, and this will just be actually. He's technically correct. That makes it 3.
Yep.
With the Firebird. So yeah.
Well, you've actually got the Saber Raven, and the Saber. What's the
Firebird?
Version? No, there's the special skin version that was done for a particular pilot.
Oh, the blue one with the camo type looking skin. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
So there's that one as well.
Yeah.
So there's 3 variants, but the Comet. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the one.
Chris. So the Saber Comet though, it's just a skin because you can get all the components for that in game. Whereas the Raven is a totally different variant because it loses its missile. It loses its missile bay for the EMPs. It gets its avionics has storage capacity for the data.
We've got a first-time chatter, Algared, who says, "Does Algared students play Star Citizen?"
Sorry?
First-time chatter who says, "Do Algared students play Star Citizen?"
Do I play Star Citizen? Yes.
No. Do your students play Star Citizen? Have you met any?
I don't know.
They haven't found these. They haven't found the channel yet, have they? So I don't think so.
No. Yeah. They say, "Sir, do you have a gaming channel?" I say, "Yes." "Can I join it?" "No." "Why?" "Because I don't need you."
Yeah.
"Go away."
I'll find it eventually.
Oh, one day they'll find it.
And it'll be all around the school.
Look, there's a couple of students who ask me occasionally, "How Star Citizen?" because apparently their dads have found Star Citizen. And
how have they not put 2 and 2 together? How have they not put?
Well, they don't. They don't.
The next generation is screwed.
No, I'm Mr. or I'm Puck. So they don't know me as Al or Algared. So, and I'm quite happy for that.
Yeah.
But I'm amazed because, I'm in. What I wear on channel is my sport clobber.
Yeah.
My school clobber. Like yesterday's stream.
Yep.
Was literally we finished that and I went straight to school.
Yeah. Hang on. So Pissball Pete asked a question. He said, "How close to the Ravens loadout do you think the Firebird will be?" And this is technically to get past the Intel Octane contract. Actually, we did a poll on it, Pete, right? And you know how the Raven is very blue and it was EMP based, and this one is red. And we did a poll on it, and we had a couple options, but the one that came out the top was a QED variant. Firebird and the red from the Mantis, but on a Raven, or on a Firebird, Saber Firebird, it's fire, QED. So, yeah.
I like that idea, Citizen Scott, by the way.
Yeah, what did he say?
He said, "Algared giving grades to students who use my referral code." But I think it'd be a one quick way to find myself 5.
Thank you for the tier 1 sub gifted. Went to John Citizen too. Congrats, John. So John's sitting in there somewhere, sneaking around. But I've got to catch up with John. He just got back from holiday.
Well, John, we've missed you.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, you've been on our thoughts. So.
Both the old guys in my life have been giving me headaches with their health. Let's just put it that way. Right. Next question, Algared. The Rusty Pigeon, go for it.
Pigeon Gamer says, "What sort of weapons should a Raven Phoenix have?" Which is basically the same question.
I think you'd be able to put any on it, wouldn't you?
Well, the current Sabins. The Sabins.
We've got a hang on, Algared. We've got a hype train on Twitch now. They're throwing things at us again.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I have no idea.
Shadow Dash. Thank you for the Prime subscription on Twitch. Wow. Okay.
And I think the bits are something like 1 cent for every bit we get on
something like that. Yeah.
I
don't understand how it works.
Space was telling us that the other day because we're going, "Oh, we don't understand it."
Yep. Thank you for the bits.
I'll be honest, I don't.
Thank you for the bits, Quelsar Prime, as well. 100 biddies. So thank you.
But if you look to go back to the question, if you look at the Saber, Saber and the Saber Raven both have size 3 weapons.
Hang on. Arcane Dodger, thank you for the 100 bits, man. They're just throwing bits at us. Right. Say what you're gonna say. Algared. Sorry to cut you off.
So the main weapons on the sabers are size 3. Now that whether that becomes size 4 with gimbals or whatever, but
I think you just would want to talk about what you would want the stock weapons to be. Now my brain goes to QED distortion. That's where I kind of go to. If you want a QED, you kind of want to lock them down and don't want them to get away. Is that where you go, or do you go somewhere else?
Well, it depends on what weapon size you do. If it's got QEDs, it's not going to have missiles because I think they'll go in the internal bay. So if you've got two size 3 weapons.
What if
If it's got a QED, then you probably do want to go distortion.
You don't. I'm just playing with fire here. Do you reckon they'd try EMP missiles like on the Defender?
No, I can't. Because that's the thing with the Saber.
Yeah.
The Saber has internal missile bay.
True.
A size. So it's got a size 4 missile rack, which has on the internal, so it drops down like the F-35.
So really, you're only just talking about the stock guns because you can put whatever guns you want.
If you do it, and for the Raven, it loses its missiles for the EMP. If you're doing a QED version, you're going to lose the missiles for the QED. Otherwise, you've got to change the whole shape and language of the Raven and of the Saber, and then it's not a Saber anymore. So that only gives you 2 weapons, 2 size 3 weapons.
So Hellraiser is the first time chatter that just turned up and asked a question, so he's obviously just missed everything we just went over. Are they shielded from EMPs as an EMP ship? No, we're the speculation and the poll that we did, basically we think it might be QED. And we did a poll with like 55%. Oh shit, we've got another hype train on. I don't understand Twitch. Just
I don't understand Twitch.
They threw money at us. I don't understand. But anyway, thank you for the level 1 hype train. Appreciate it. Never expected, but always appreciated. Yeah, I think we've kind of beaten a dead horse there, unless you can think of anything else to go over with the Firebird.
Frosty Pigeon Gamer says sucker punch weapons with a QED.
Yeah, it could be any of those, and any of the ones that lean into its it's facilitating its QED essentially.
But that change, and that also changes the idea of the Raven. Like the Raven's approach is. It's undergunned, but what it does is once it's got its info, if it's being chased, it EMPs them, kills them dead, and uses its speed to get away. The problem with that has always been.
Hang on, Arcane Danger. Thank you for the gifted sub to Aussie Veteran. I appreciate it. Yep, sorry.
The problem with that is that EMPs always still affect the ship that's throwing it out, and so that goes back to the question that was asked: are they shielded from EMPs? No ship's shielded from an EMP, even when it uses it at present.
Well, I got a question for you. Do you think this is literally on par with the Mantis, or do you think it's another Cutlass Blue, where it's only the restrain them from leaving, not the actual stopping? Or do you think, again, I think it's the Mantis. Because it, you know how you had the 2 EMPs, I think it's got the stopping and the holding, because it's almost in line with the 2 EMPs off the Raven, if you get my drift.
If it could pull them out, could it pull you out of quantum?
Sorry, the reason we use wordage like that is they use stupid names for things. So we just talk in simple folk, right? We're here at the Inforunners, just simple folk. No, but anyway, you get my whole point, right? It's easier if we explain it like that. So dampener and QED essentially, but yeah.
Do I think they'd use the one that pulls you out of QED, out of quantum, versus just stops you entering quantum?
It's on par with the Mantis, really, isn't it, though? Right? If you think about it, it's roughly the same size. You don't get any internals, though. You don't get a bed. You don't get...
What size?
You know what I mean? So essentially, you're paying more, but getting a bit more maneuverability in combat. I
could see a space superiority fighter, which is what the Aegis Saber... The Saber, what the Sabers were designed as.
But you also lost 2 guns off the Raven. So my brain goes to, if it's only got the dampener, it should probably have 4 guns to make up for it. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe. I think the
And
dampener
maybe
actually. Well, I think if you're going a ship with dampeners as a space superiority fighter, it works in conjunction with the squadron, and it stops the target from fleeing.
Yep.
So the rest of the squadron can take it out.
So and essentially, you'd be giving up your missile bay just to get the dampener.
Yep. So you can you enhance the abilities of the flight to stop your enemy getting away.
But then I come back around again. What would you prefer? And I'm telling you, I'd rather the whole kit and less guns, which puts it on par with the Mantis then. So it's only got 2 guns like the Raven, but then you get the dampener or the stopper and the holder.
Yeah, I think you've either got the EMP variant, or you've got the dampener to stop you entering QED, entering quantum. And I think in both of those you'd have just 2 weapons. I think for the QED version, it could have the same armor, or not be as agile or fast as say the Raven, and be more in line with the actual regular Saber, and that would give it the ability to actually function with a flight of Sabers. Just imagine you've got this space superiority fighter. What makes it so good is it's got one ship in that squadron that's actually stopping you get away.
I also, ironically, I can see it working fairly well with the Raven itself. So, yeah.
Well, like I said, if you've got a QED, you're stopping a target flee. That means if you're fucking info.
Sorry, level 2 hype chain on Twitter. What? Okay, cool. Thank you very much. I don't want to be unappreciative, but I don't understand how this works. It just it's throwing names at me.
I don't understand the hype train either,
but thank you very much.
Yeah.
Right.
So I could see. I could see it working. I can certainly see a QED variant of a Saber. I'm not going to say of a Raven, because I don't think it's a Raven variant. I think it's just another variant of a Saber. It might look more like a Raven, but it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I agree. I think it is, again, because it's another bird, Raven and Firebird. Yep. I think it is just another variant.
But
yeah,
if they bring out,
I lean into QED, and I think most of the audience.
And I think if they do bring out a Raven, or they solve a Raven again, it's because they're able to. It's not under the. It's not under lock and key with that promotion.
Yeah, I get the feeling though. Now we've kind of talked it through. I'm leaning way more to QED, and the Raven itself will just be earning in game, just like the Amiga will be.
Yeah, eventually. But I think that's the way they'll go.
So next one is also by Rusty Vision, who says, "Do you guys think the G12 will be released without the rework done for the 600i?" Yeah, absolutely. Yep. What?
100%.
Why wouldn't it? It'll work in the 890 jump. It'll work on its own. It's a standalone thing. It does not need the 600i in any way, shape, or form.
And into context, we got the P52 before the Connies were reworked.
That's true.
We got the Lynx and the Ursa and the P72 before the Connies were actually brought up to snuff. So there's a precedent there. So yeah.
Real quick, Algared, one thing that you didn't mention is price on the Firebird. I said roughly around 200. Are you thinking the same?
We said the same.
Okay, cool.
We said the same.
That's just
because the original was about 175, and we said about 200.
Yeah, someone did a question there. Salty Dog kind of asked that, so I'm just doing that real quick.
Have you played 3.23 on EPTU, and if so, what is the most annoying bug you've experienced?
Just the crashing, but I got on yesterday, and a lot of it's getting closer. It really is getting close. Like if they can fix that last thing, it'll and it's not out today. I'm kind of surprised because normally I get up in the morning and there's been a patch there every day. So whatever that holdover is, it's close. And I did see a post on Reddit when we were looking before, and it literally said, not an announcement, but if you've got anything to do for the next couple of hours, go do that and then come back. So implying
Yep.
that there's something holding it up, but they think they're going to get it done. So
And
maybe
the
by
fact
the end
that-
of this stream, it'll be done, you know?
The fact that it went basically open to everybody on the test version, I think that says how close they are. I have played the EPTU. My most annoying bug was landing and falling through the lift and not being able to get out into the distribution centres.
Yeah.
I haven't played this week due to work, and on Thursday I was running around seeing doctors and everything else, so that chewed up my day off. So
Yep. All right.
So
Hellregen, next question says, aren't Saber, Comet, and Raven similar? Yeah, we pretty much said words to that effect, didn't we, Algared?
Jock Cop says, could this also be a small bomber that was in one of the sitcom previews? A small one-person ground attack could be cool.
At the end of the day, it could be anything they want it to be. But all you can do is kind of speculate and brainstorm and see where things go. And I don't know. We could be completely off the mark, and we'll freely admit it. But like again, it's just taking our game knowledge and you know, we even bounce things off you guys in chat and you know, when we do things in a group with the other guys and stuff. That's how it all comes out. It's just brainstorming.
Anyone.
The one thing we will always say though, Algared, is never do this shit alone.
No,
never ever do this alone, because your brain has this weird thing where it tells you you're correct. And as soon as you do it with someone else, like I'll say something crazy or Algared will say something crazy, and the other will go, whoa, you know.
Yeah, you're an idiot. Is what we'll say to each other, basically. But look, we often, if we're speculating, we'll often be in our supporters chat. And any one of our supporters have often been there, and they've sometimes, you know, seen us go at each other hammer and tong, and it's not that we're angry at each other. It's not that we're
just passionate.
The friendship of a creek. It's just we're just both passionate about what we're talking about. Badges always was I don't like it when you argue.
Yeah,
and that was even with arguing.
I was like, hey, you got no idea. You haven't seen shit yet, bro. All right, Adam Clay says, instead of a night vision, what about the visual effect to a grid overlay projection on the outside of terrain throughout the helmet visor? They can do whatever they want, and I think we're only seeing the infancy of this stuff. Now we've got the star map in, we're going to see a lot more scanning stuff coming in. And we know they talked about, cross-sections, thermal. That was for ships. Why wouldn't you have that on foot as well? Yeah. You know,
indeed.
Yeah, I think we're going to get... Eventually, like if this is the very first visor, so to speak, or the HUD, wouldn't you have an explorer HUD, a medical HUD, a combat HUD? Like you can start to think of it pretty quickly. And again, I spend what's a low-tech combat hub and a high-tech combat hub, and what is the price difference? You see it very quickly. You're going to want to have, you know, the different prices in armor. Why am I paying 5 times as much for this helmet? Because you get this, and this.
You get all the bells and whistles that enable you to pick the things. And why am I paying X for this mining HUD? Because it actually identifies the minerals and the and helps you tell the quality and spectra analyzers, whatever. Yeah, there's a whole reason, a whole plethora of things they can do. John Ski.
Yep.
Says, so did I acquire a Saber Raven for no reason with the new Firebird coming up? No.
No, I don't think you did. I think I don't know. I just keep going towards QED. It just makes the most sense.
Oh, to me, it makes sense.
And you can see it's a completely separate name, and I can also see them working together. Ironically,
I can see them working together. I can see them working separate. I probably don't see the Raven working as well with the other sabers as they say a QED version could. But that's maybe just that I'm just got blinkers on. And the reason part of a reason for that is the Raven is such a stealthy variant. That was one of the key components of it, and that tied in with Intel's drive. It's quiet. It's fast.
Wild speculation time, right? In the monthly report, they mentioned 2 new variants have just been completed. This is one of them. If you were going to take a Drake ship, what would the variant be? Now, my brain went to Buccaneer.
Yep. I just in saying that, based on the Raven, I think, yeah, Buccaneer.
I wonder. I kind of sit there and go, what other, unless it was like a racing Cutlass, but again, they wouldn't sell that. Yeah,
Buccaneer, stripped back, turned into a Raven-esque ship. Give it a QE, give it the EMP
on top, yeah. Instead of the gun, yeah.
Give it storage advice. Give it storage capacity. So basically, it's a Raven. It's a Inforunner. They've already got in their wheelhouse Inforunning with the Herald. Give it a QE. Give it an EMP.
Call it the. Oh, I haven't got the name. It's the Buccaneer Hook or the Hook.
The Hook.
Because the.
Yep.
That works so well. Looking forward to the peg leg, whatever. But
you know, I could see a Buccaneer definitely reconfigured as a Raven. It's not a Raven, but it does everything that the Raven does.
Yeah, interesting.
It's already a fast ship. It's lightly armed or armored. So you get speed.
The only reason I don't think it would get the data running though because of the Herald, personally. But I could definitely see it having the what do you call it, the EMPs. He'll be back in a second. Are you back? What you were saying? Sorry.
Yeah. So I think it would work really well with the Herald because it gathers information and then passes it off to the Herald, which then does it, and it would also.
Oh, it's like a smaller. It's like a smaller capacity.
Yeah,
maybe.
Because I don't think the Raven does mass capacity. It goes in, it gets what it wants, and it sneaks in and gets out.
It's kind of like a USB stick compared to a hard drive type of thing.
Yeah, and I think that's what the Raven is. I think that's what you'd see on a Drake version on the Buccaneer.
Well, it definitely doesn't have the big data banks that the Herald and the MSI have. So yeah, you're probably right.
Well, that's why you strip out the weapons. You increase the avionics to have the storage capacity. I could see it. Now, will CIG do that? Well, that's another question, but never say never.
No, it was just kind of where my brain went. Like, I'm like, well, what would you do if you did 2 variants? And the day that's clearly missing stuff to me is that is Drake. There's nothing there for Drake.
Yep.
And I'm just going, what would you do? The other place my brain just went is the mule. Remember, we talked about what was that rumor we heard? The salvage variant of the mule. We heard that rumor of that. Where it kind of salvages and deposits into a box at the back. I don't know.
Yeah. Yep.
I've lost your video, Algared. I don't know why, but
I know the video's gone.
Back. Yeah. So
for those wondering, whenever the video drops, I don't lose hearing what's going on.
Yeah, it's one-sided. So he's got an upload issue on his street. We've worked out. It's something that it's going to take him like 9 months to get fixed. Yeah.
But yeah, a Drake. I think a Drake Buccaneer variant of a Raven would actually work.
The only thing I then put out there though is we don't have our biggish ship, and when I say biggish, I think the sizes of the big ships have kind of dropped in recent years. I'm talking like Galaxy-sized max, but I think again, being Invictus, they'd be more likely to have a medium-sized ship, in that lineup. And I look at that lineup, and I don't think there was too many gaps left, was there, Algared?
Yeah.
So it'd either have to be a variant of one of the mediums, or a vehicle or a small. Essentially, I don't think we're going to get.
To pick up 2 comments from YouTube, Braden says, "Would a Corsair variant of that make sense?" I don't know. I think if you're looking at a Raven-esque variant.
No, I don't think it has to necessarily.
And the other one was
hang on,
said.
hang on.
Let me finish. And the other one that was suggested was the arrow, and I think that's too small. So both of those variants that people have said, hey, what about this? If you're looking at a Raven-esque variant, the Corsair's too big, and the arrow's too small. So I don't think they'd work.
I think the Corsair's fine personally. As for the arrow, what would a variant be? And the only thing I can think of is a racing variant. And again, Anvil don't really do that.
If you're looking at a Raven, a ship that's doing what the Raven does, and you're
I think you've gone down that track. I'm thinking like just a variant of anything from Drake. And Corsair would work, and it would, and it's one of the most popular ships in game, and they know that. So if you did a variant, they're going to go, let's take a really popular ship, make a variant, and it'll sell. I could totally see that. They've got all the variants of the Connie. Why wouldn't you do a Corsair one? And I'm going to be honest, why haven't they done MSR as well? So I'm expecting MSR and Corsair variants eventually.
Look. And given that they're a very similar size to a Connie, I could 100% see that. Starfarer variant, another Starfarer variant could be nice, but limited respawns because we know they want to redo the Starfarer. I don't see them doing that until they actually redo the Starfarer.
What would you do with the Corsair variant though? That's where my brain goes. Like it kind of already does everything you'd expect a Drake to do.
You ditch the... Yeah, I think it is a general ship already. I suppose you could turn a
The only... Actually, I just thought of one, is data running. Like an MSR competitor from Corsair.
You could do that, or you could turn it into the Corsair Galleon and basically make it a Taurus competitor.
Yeah. So what? Strip out some of the.
You can and make a bigger cargo bay.
So essentially, you lose the kitchen and you lose like 2 of the crew in that area, or the 3 crew in that area, and it just becomes a Taurus.
Yeah,
then you don't have the people though. And
so
you lose the side guns, and that where those side guns could be a living quarters instead. So you lose all the guns.
Maybe do that. But yeah. That becomes a bigger rework than just like the Taurus was just.
It's on line with the God, I've just had a brain fart. The science one from the Aquila, yeah. Sorry, I just had a brain fart there for a second. But yeah.
A nursing Corsair, a medical Corsair.
Too close to the Apollo. Too close to the Cuddy Red from their own stuff. It'd tread too much on their own stuff.
If we're doing a Corsair variant of a medical, it would have to be better than the Cuddy Red.
Yeah, and people are already
doing it by turn a couple of the crew quarters into actual medical rooms. And then put bunks in. Put one of the rooms with bunks instead of just a single bed, and put a couple of medical beds in. So you could do it. I could see it happening, but would they do that? And that's probably
Yeah, you any variant like that, you'd be giving up guns for sure on that thing.
No, what I just got to let Ender know. What's happening is every time I disappear, it's when I tell you the release date for Squadron 42. All right, that's what's happening. We've worked it out in the past. I tell you that date, I disappear.
Probably looks like this show, the show for the weekend, Algared, is going to be more talking about ships for Invictus if we can find some stuff.
We've kind of worked out that one of the things we've found at the last couple of weeks is we end up doing our show and then from the discussion we end up pulling
every time,
pulling out and doing and kind of trying to zero in a little bit more.
It's happened a couple of times. As Algared said, we'll do something on the stream and it'll pop a show idea out essentially. Mercury Med Runner, yeah, that's been floated a few times as well. Oh no, my brain just thought of one for Anvil. Oh, I hate my brain. Remember how we said the theme was medical?
Mm-hmm.
The search and rescue terrapin.
And we know there's a search and rescue terrapin in lore.
Yeah, and they showed it in a video. Like...
And they showed Jimmy picking up. Yeah. Yep. It could very well be. They could very well be the search and rescue terrapin, and that would be a larger ship.
That was, so if you want to know how my brain works, that was Grimshock who said Mercury Med Runner, and then I somehow connected that to the terrapin in my head because I just went to Anvil and went bang, like that's how that worked. My brain's weird like that.
No, it does make weird sense.
And then that literally then only leaves Drake, and but then again maybe there's just nothing for Drake Day. Because the variant is a terrapin variant.
Yeah.
So you'd get a terrapin and you'd get a saber, essentially. And
it would give terrapin.
What if the Drake is a new ship?
Well, it could be.
Because they said straight to flyable ship.
Mm-hmm.
What if they've got a holdover Drake ship they just never told us about from last year?
Look, anything's possible, and we know that Drake is a very popular company.
Yeah.
But I think the two companies that always seem very popular with the masses at the moment are Crusader and Drake.
Can you see them having done a ship at the end of last year that they just never sold?
You mean like a Drake Corvette?
Well, you know how they did the Scout and they did the Rambler, and they did the... What else did they do in that time? They did the Vulture, and there was something else in there as well, but I've forgotten.
Well, I know there's been talk.
It won't be, but the thing is, guys, it won't be a variant, or well, it could be a variant if the terrapin's not a thing, right? But the one thing they've said is that you're getting two variants essentially, and a straight to flyable. They've said there's a straight to flyable ship. We don't know what it is.
People saying the fatty pillar.
And again, if you go through all the days and look. There's no straight to flyable there. So there's the big thing, like the big brand new shiny that's not a variant. That's the one thing we don't know. The biggest thing
does fit for being Drake, and Drake we know is a very popular brand. So, and if I did the Drake Corvette,
if you
the
go...
one that comes to my mind, a ship that comes to my mind for that is a Vindicator. An EMP. Basically, stop you flying, keep you here. The big version.
You got that stuck on the mind today.
I do.
Because here we've got the we know something's come from RSI and Argo at the very least, right? Origin potentially with the G12. You go over to Aegis, well, obviously the Firebird's coming there, and then dates wise, potentially something on Drake, right? And then we've found things for both this and Anvil. So the one big thing that's missing, like the bigger ship, is this. And I come back to Algared, like, what size of ship would that be? And it'd have to be medium large. It'd have to be in that bracket anyway. And the only place I can think of them going is some kind of hacking ship, e-warfare. Yeah. It's the only thing left in their lineup that they don't have in that size range. Because otherwise it's directly competing with the Cutlass or the Corsair. If you go generalistic or combat again.
Yep, but if you go e-warfare or that whole, I'm just thinking of that Star Wars, the Vindicate,
But you wouldn't go large like Connie size because of the Mercury Star Runner. That's kind of already tiny. The only place then is like medium cutty sized.
Yep. You either go up to Corvette or you go.
It's medium or Corvette basically. There's no. Would they do a Corvette?
Well, we know they've talked about a Drake Corvette.
Yeah, but that's such a bit like. So I put this back to you, Algared. If they're doing a Corvette here, what the hell's coming at CitizenCon? Holy shit, we're getting something big then. If that's the case, like if we get a Polaris-esque ship at Invictus, there must be something huge coming at CitizenCon. That's all I can say.
Especially if it's straight to flyable, and that would be the other thing. Like,
yeah.
Whew. And again, I would just dread what the bill at the end of the year will be when they they update the
That would, man, if that was straight to flyable and it was the size of a Polaris, can you imagine people losing their shit?
yeah, absolutely. And can you imagine how many of it sell?
I don't think it can be straight to flyable be that size.
No.
Because it's just it's the same reason why the
Not.
Polaris is not in. We just don't have servo meshing.
Yeah. Yeah, and so flight straight to flyable set pushes
see.
the idea back to small or medium. But yeah,
I don't know.
although
Interesting to see where it goes.
is the Terrapin a medium ship?
No, it's a small. It actually fits in the Polaris. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
So that does fit in the Polaris. That's right.
Yeah, it's. I believe it's.
Anyway, John Ski.
Yep.
So did I? We've done that one. Riddick, what's the chance of getting a new commercial for cat with adult poles in every bay? You've watched too much of IAE and Drake's sponsoring of it. Yes.
Yes.
Never say never.
So
but unlike.
Algared, is that what we're up to? Question.
Yep, it is.
Are we going to see the Saber Raven Mark II go on sale? No, I don't think that is. I think we've kind of beaten that to a.
Yeah, given that the Saber Raven or the Sabers were actually Aegis' new space superiority fighter.
Hellraiser says, I wonder what happens if you CCU from an Ursa Fortuna to a Nursa. Would you keep deliveries? Yes, you do keep deliveries. So if you had a Ursa Fortuna as an example, that you would still have a green skin. Whether or not it works on the Nursa is a completely different thing. You may still retain it, but it might not work on the Nursa. But if you then went and brought an Ursa in game, it would work on that. Yep. The Rusty Pigeon says,
what do you think of the Overdrive mission is repelled till or held back until after IAW?
Yeah, it will be.
Yep.
Jake said that. Yeah, absolutely will be put off until after Invictus. Okay, well that lines up. That's slightly disappointing though. Hopefully,
I could have seen it being an effort to interfere with Invictus launch week, but
as long as people get their as long as people get their F7A upgrade, I think they'll be fine. Because if they have it, so you have to get that afterwards, and then they start selling it, people are going to be tempted to jump and buy it, which is kind of shitty.
I could see the frustration. Yeah, and if they do it after the event and you can buy it at the event, knowing it's going to be updated, yeah, man, people would jump on that quick smart.
Yeah.
But I could just imagine them trying to run Invictus launch week, which already stresses the servers massively, and an event like that, which is going to stress the servers. There'd be pitchforks and torches all the way from Australia to Manchester, I think.
Yeah. There's an interesting statement there from Ender. The Drake Corvette would make way more sense after the Polaris totally sold out. Yeah, and it would, because the Polaris would. The talk of the Polaris will be on the first day because it's RSI, so yeah. Craigon says, question, do you know how big the UAE Navy is, and if there is any more player-owned, are there more player-owned Idrises and Javelins than the Navy owns? Algared, that's one for you.
I haven't checked out. I do know there's supposedly 7 or 8 Bengals. I'd have to check the numbers. Paul's probably got his finger on the pulse better than I do in this regard. Given that the Idrises, certainly the Javelins, are decommissioned military versions, and the Idrises, certainly the Idris M's were decommissioned military versions, and the original Idris P was supposed to be a decommissioned military version, but it's now changed the law and it's actually purpose built for that to meet the demand. I'd probably say no.
And they can always change it.
And they can always change it.
Yeah. Rusty Gaming Pigeon says, are there any alien races that do farming related to Alien Week after Interest Log Week? Well,
yeah.
Last 2 years we haven't got any ships for the alien stuff, so I am hoping we get something this year.
But yes, for Xi'an. For Xi'an have planets dedicated to different things. They got planets dedicated to farming. Yep, 100%. They got families that only do buttons making, or as Joe would say as an example. They so 100%.
Yeah, I think eventually you'll see all the ships from all types of aliens, just like you got from the humans. When they do their expansions, I think they'll fill them out. Right, Patrick S says, hope you all can go. Oh wait, hope you all can. Oh, that's the one we already answered. So yeah, about CitizenCon. Yeah, yeah. I think we'll get there. It's just that how much of the expense it's going to be, because it's it's stretching my finance.
The question is how much is
going
to put us.
It's just it's stretching my finances very, very thin.
Ozveteran. It's very, very thin, I think.
Yeah, Ozveteran. You would think SC would help out streamers for the trip for free publicity. Yeah, but then again, like, they've really not wanted to play favorites for a really long time. Ever since that thing happened with, what was his name? The guy Dan something from Big Brother. That they got a lot of blowback from that. And then if they turned out and they helped, 5 streamers, and then there was all these others that probably needed it more than them, but they were bigger or smaller. Yeah, where do you draw the line? Yeah.
Well, is a streamer that's got 200 viewers but does great quality worse or better than a streamer that's got 5,000 viewers but does shit quality?
Well, it's like us, Algared. Like, I've been doing this longer than anyone, but does that mean I deserve it? Because I'm not as big as a draw card as, say, Board Gamer, and he only lives down the road from them in comparison, you see. So who do they help?
And you and I have been doing the channel for 7 years, 8 years. It's shocking to think. It doesn't feel like that long. But we've been doing the Inforunners together for 7 years, 8 years. So
yeah, it's crazy. I was looking the other day. We're coming up to 700 videos. We're not far. We're only like 20 off or something like that. So we'll easily hit that this year. We'll have to do something for like 750 or something. I don't know.
Yeah. When we go 1,000 videos, that's kind of a...
Oh, we retire at 1,000. John Ski says, question, are you guys coming to the USA on your flight? Atlanta, Hartsfield, Jackson. No, it's literally... when you look at flights, they seem to go through Europe for us. So it kind of goes Australia, Singapore, Dubai or Germany, and then on to London or Manchester or something like that. So yeah, and I've got to sit down with my mum next week to work out. She's a big flight buff. She does all these, like, she booked mine in Algared's hotel and stuff like that. She does a lot of this, so she's going to organise my trip, and I haven't quite refined exactly what I want to do. She's wanting me to go for like the entire time that I can possibly go, but I'm like, I'm just really worried about the expense. Like, I don't want to spend money.
I cannot deny that the expense is a worry for me. I just look at you look at the price and then you think, oh, that's British pounds. That's actually double. And that becomes scary.
Well, again, like your normal kind of wage type thing doesn't even cover the food anymore because everything costs twice as much. So it's just like, So it's scary.
But I am planning to, after CitizenCon and after my visit and stay and whatever I do in England and Europe, because there are some things I want to do in France and World War One and some areas of World War Two. I then want to go to the States, and so I will end up from England going to the States and then across to the West Coast, where I'll catch up with friends there too.
Do you reckon they'll be real welcoming when you get back? Like they'll have like a big cheer squad, welcome back, because you haven't been there in 50 years. They kicked you out when you were 4, and now they're bringing the convict back.
They didn't kick us out. We left over.
That's what they told you. No, teasing.
Yeah, look, I'm eager to catch up with some of the rels. There's a whole pile of rels that I've got in England that I can't remember meeting.
Wait, we have to translate for people. Rels means relatives. If you don't know what I got said, right? Yeah. It's Aussie slang.
I've met one of my aunts. On my mum's side, and 3 of my cousins, and I've got hundreds, so that would be interesting. But
so for me, expats told me I need to go to Scotland, and I've had a few people, including her, tell me about Ireland as well. So I'm, again. And the only thing I've seen that I've kind of seen that's on, like Paul's talked about Warhammer World, and we've both talked about that as well. So I'll probably go with him when he goes or whatever. The other one was I'm a big board games person, and Essen Spiel's on a couple of weeks before CitizenCon. And I was also going to spend some time with John Citizen. He's offered kindly to put me up for free at his place. So, yeah, I'm thinking like Essen Spiel, stay with John, CitizenCon. But my mum wants me to go like Scotland and Ireland and all this shit. She's like, "You're never gonna go again. You need to go here." Yep. I'm like, but my mum is one of those people. Like we would go on a holiday as kids, Algared, and every day we're in a different hotel, and I'm like, it drove me mental because you're always traveling. And to put in perspective, when I went to the Philippines, the first holiday I went on my own, I just went to one place and stayed there, put my feet up for a month. It was bliss.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I like the idea of traveling, but the first time I went to the States, I basically did that, and I was just run ragged. Yeah. And after that, there's no way I'm doing that again. And I deliberately go, and if I was thinking I want 1 day, I'd end up spending 3.
Yeah.
Just because you don't want if you're on a holiday, you don't want to be more exhausted when you come back.
Yeah. First time chatter on Twitch, Salad Days 1983 says visiting the UK without visiting Scotland is folly. Yeah, well, I have family ties to Scotland too, much like Algared was talking about family. My mother's maiden name is Innes, which is a Scottish name, and there's a family crest that my mum's now inherited from my grandmother. It's like a black boar, and it's got this like Hessian thing. Anyway, but yeah, so I do want to kind of go back. And Mum said there are family places that we can go and like visit our heritage in Scotland. So that's, I don't know, I think that's probably what I'd do when I went to Scotland.
Yeah, and I'm similar. I've got family in Ireland as well. So
I should see if we can get Expat to give us a guided tour of Scotland. That'd be sick.
That's right.
You know how she does the cinematic voice she does. Here we have the Nessie. This is Loch Ness or whatever. Yeah, but it'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, well, she could take us on a tour of Hadrian's Wall, and then just skip and jump over the wall up to Scotland for a bit of and fluid.
Well, I'd ask Piss Poor Pete, but all he's gonna be able to do is give us a tour of his local Mickey D's. Like McDonald's.
and we don't want Mickey D's. We got Mickey D's here, or Macca's.
Yeah, dear.
And ours, I think, are cut above everyone else's because we started the Mac Cafe before anyone else.
Yep, we did, but that's gone global now too. Yeah. All right.
I did used to know one of the guys who was one of the high ups in McDonald's.
I didn't see
elsewhere, but yeah.
I didn't know Shem Pasta was here. So Shem Pasta, do you think CIG will get rid of buybacks eventually, like before release or after release? Yeah, but I don't think they actually, do they need to?
I think eventually they will. I think what they'll do is if they keep them, they'll make it that we can. Yes, you've got it in your buyback. You can use it.
It's an advantage to veterans to keep it. That's what I'm saying. So all those that came before release, they have that little perk where you can go back and buy something back from the olden days.
But what they might do is make it that yes, you can still get back in buyback, but we'll just adjust all the prices so they're the standard.
Yeah.
Current.
Yep, agree with you on that one.
Right. And I know I've heard they've started to do that on some things. So
yeah, we've already done that one from Piss Poor Pete. So
I think we have done that one.
Yeah. You can go on to the next one.
But yeah, Wenzel says that was your question, by the way, Pete, about the Raven.
Yeah,
Wenzel says, do you think CIG is saving any ships for the 4.0 release? Nah, they'll just make new ships.
Yeah.
And what do you mean by 4.0 release? Is that what you mean by?
So they're pushing for 4.0 for CitizenCon end of the year type of thing.
All right, so if that's kind of launch, then you've also
it's AIE. There's more ships coming at AIE.
Yep.
6 months.
Definitely more ships at AIE, and we know that if you're talking like end release, we know the ships are saving that. We know that one of the last ships they're going to do is the Endeavour.
Will you look at CitizenCon? CitizenCon is more likely going to be the release of the Zeus, and then another new ship on top of that.
And I've got to admit, the place I'd expect the big capital ship to be would be IA, because that's the big event. But
they've done both. They've done both in the past. They've had a big.
They have
a big ship at CitizenCon and a big ship at IA. But IA is the one where they tend to do it. Algared is correct on that point.
So that's this question we answered. So we're up to Rusty Kitchen Gaming again, which says, "Love the episode with Tom Beckenhauser. Nice for you guys to expand your guests."
It's just time.
Don't believe it, but we're happy to have anyone on.
Yeah.
Who likes talking ship.
Yeah.
And we do intend to line up Tom for a FMF.
Yeah, at some point.
So he can show off his fleet.
By the way, he got his banner merch man. Do you know how many streams it took him to get his banner merch man, Algared?
Sorry?
2. Remember how it took him two streams. Yeah, and I said, you got no idea how generous people are. Like, just go do a stream and put a goal up. And yeah, it took him 2 streams to get the was it like?
Yeah.
I think he got like just slightly over $300 is what he needed. So yeah. So Tom now has a banner merch man that he got through a contact that we have.
So in the Fix My Fleet, we're going to tell him to melt it and turn it into
just to fuck with it. We should do that. We should just do as an opener, and not do it like an all Fix My Fleet. So we're melting. We've got to melt this banner mesh man and just see if we can get him to panic, and it'll just be really funny.
Yeah, what have you got that for? It's a piece of rubbish.
Nobody clip this and show it to him. It'd be funny as hell. Anyway, no, it'd just be a troll.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah.
All right. Hellraiser, is the Mantis the only one with it? Is technically? Yeah, it is the only one. So this is the thing, you got to put context in your question, but his context is he's talking about the puller outerer.
The ability
rather than the holder.
Quantum drive, yes.
Yeah, it is the only one right now, and I think that's why it would be really valuable to have a second ship that can do it.
And I think part of a reason for that is it's the other ships that have got EMPs, not EMPs, the QED, they're smaller ships, and so they don't have the ability to have that same size. That's my impression I get. The blue could probably do it, but it's got its prison areas that take up room as well. So.
And I just think of the 2 MPs, and that's why I kind of go, well, it's two abilities, but...
Yep.
But also, do you know what it totally kills, though? The ship? If this is a QED ship, even just a plain QED, the variant of the Scorpius, is the Antares is just dead in the water. It's done. Because it's just, why would I want 2 people when I can just have 1?
Yep. And you could see, you could see them it happening.
Well, that actually answers my question in my brain now. Actually, they won't do the combat one; they'll have just 2 guns, because if they had the 4 guns, it essentially is the Antares.
Yep. And I think, and if you're using a Saber variant, I think 2 guns just sticks with.
What the Raven has,
it sticks more with the model. Well, even the standard Sabers only have 2 guns.
I thought
they have missile pods.
I thought they had 4.
Apparently.
Chat, just tell us. I thought the Saber had 4. It had 2 up the front and then 2 on the wings, and the Raven's only got the 2 on the wings. Anyway, chat, let us know. Is it 4? Is it 4?
According to the Matrix of Lies.
Yeah.
They've only all got 2, but I could be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong.
I remember there being on the normal Saber, there's 2 up the front and 2 at the back. But yeah, let us know in chat. Saber 4, Raven 2. Yeah, Riot says Riot said what I thought. Yeah, Saber 4, Raven 2.
I do know that the regular Sabers have missile pods, and that's what they do lose those. But given the Raven also has the updated avionics with the storage capacity and other stuff, and its stealth, losing extra pair of guns again.
Yep. So there's multiple people saying it's the Comet's also got 4 as well. So yeah, 4 size 3 hard points, which is exactly what.
I just remembered wrong.
Hang on. Yeah, that's fine. But the size 3 hard points is exactly what the Scorpius has. So it literally would be identical to Scorpius. So they ain't doing that. It's got to be two size 3s. It's the only thing that makes sense. Yeah.
Unless they changed it and made it a dual a pilot and co-pilot setup, and then again it's just a Scorpio Centauri.
Why would you do that when you could just take the Firebird? If it is that, but I've got a massive feeling that that's what it's going to be. It's just going to be I hope it's got both, because if it's only got the one, it does put it in this grey area. But if it's got both, it actually makes it better than the Antares. Which now makes me think they
challenges the Raven,
but makes me think that they won't do that. You know what I mean? But the Mantis is way more undergunned. I think it's only got like 2 size 2s or something like that.
I'd have to look it up. I know it was really small guns. And I know that was one of the questions they said about the Sabre when they brought out. And it's interesting because the Sabre Raven comes out and is flyable before the Mantis is ever made. And yet it's got bigger guns. And people said, "Oh, it's undergunned at the time," and they said, "Well, that's because it's got the EMPs and it basically zaps you and runs away. It's a get in and get out ship." So, Fred Eric Schultz says, "How are your plans coming along regarding the Beckenhauser series?" I fixed my fleet for him and the in-depth with him on and an engineer.
Yeah, well, I will set up some stuff with Tom on the engineering stuff, but I've got to find someone else. You need 3 people. It's kind of a thing.
And I've asked him for a time when he's available, and so far he has not responded. He says, "Yeah, we need to."
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked you for the time. Yeah.
I'll message him now.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah. You got to poke and prod.
Chris E, do you think the new Sabre could be a missile variant, given that the other fighters have a missile variant?
No.
No, because its missiles are internal. I suppose you could have more missiles.
It can be anything you want it to be, but I just can't get away from that the red and the QED. Like, we know red is QED, and it's been red on every QED ship it's come out on. It's been this big red thing.
Yep. Yeah, and they want those visual cues. So if you see a blue ball, you know it's a EMP. If it's a red ball, you know it's a QED. They want people to have those visible cues when you're seeing the ship. So, Hellraiser. What about the picture they released on their Instagram with Again, that's just tying with what we think, and I think we've done that to death. I think I'll go to Grimflock question as well. Again, look at the Sabre Raven and Firebird. Did we get the Rusty Pigeon Gaming says, did we guys get the leak of a possible ramp at the back of a reclaimer? It dropped yesterday or the day before. It was a picture on Reddit. I think that might have been the one you showed of the...
No, I don't remember seeing the ramp on you said ramp on a reclaimer. I didn't see any ramp on a reclaimer.
No, but you did show one where you said this is the Nurser. So I think that might be what he's referring to. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I can't say if it's not the one you're talking.
Who asked that question?
Rusty Pigeon Gamer.
Rusty Pigeon.
Drop me a link, Rusty.
Yeah, drop me a link in Discord or something like that, please, bud. Because I haven't seen that, or we would like to confirm that we haven't seen it at the very least.
Yep.
All right, Adam Clay says it could just...
He does say he says it was on Grimstream.
I don't think I caught the second... Is this the one that I was on with Grim or the day after? So, yeah. Yeah, I haven't... Yeah, you'd have to link it to me, Rusty, and I'll look at it after. Sorry, man.
Yep. I recall.
Yeah, so Adam Clay's just saying it could be a redesigned Sabre in that question, so we've kind of burnt that to death. Hellraiser says, do either of you have a Raven? Yes, we both do. Braden says, would a Drake Corsair variant make sense? Well, funnily enough...
I think we did pick along those.
Yeah, I think we've kind of talked about that.
The Drake Corsair would make sense, but if you're looking that Raven-esque idea as we were going, I don't think so, but yeah.
So we're down under 10 questions now, so if you want to get another question in, please feel free. So T-Tub says...
And... Oh, no, it's 8 o'clock, not 9 o'clock.
Yep. T-Tub says, if the question is about 2 variants, isn't the Ursa Medical variant considered one of the... Yeah, it's technically true. It's true.
Technically true. Could.
Yeah, so you'd have the Ursa and the Saber. Yeah, and then the
Yeah.
new variant. Yeah, you're technically correct there, sir.
Yeah, at least two.
Yeah, he's technically
I
correct.
still like the idea of a medical terrapin. That would be so good.
I just went into my head when he talked about the medical MSR.
Yep.
Anyway, Joe says, with Aegis falling out of favor with the UEE, why would they have another ship that could easily be replaced by more favored RSI Anvil models? RSI Mantis would be favored by Aegis QED. Variety. People like different types of styles of ships. It's not really about. You're looking for a lore reason to play a problem, essentially.
Effectively, Aegis may have fallen out of favour with the UEE, but when they started producing their citizen variants of the ships, they actually had a resurgence in sales, and it actually saved them. So,
well, that's why the Reclaimer came about and stuff like that, wasn't it?
No, more like the F7Cs, and when they started selling their fighters off as civilian variants.
Oh, you're talking about Anvil. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Aegis. My bad. Sorry.
So no, I am talking about Aegis. Aegis fell out of favour with the UEE because of their links to the Mezzas.
But didn't they make the Reclaimer because they wanted to make more civilian
I always
based?
understood the Reclaimer was just built as part of a military salvage.
No, I remember reading a thing years ago saying they wanted to make it something more for the civilian market rather than military. That's why it stands out.
It's like probably then is linked to that falling out of favour after the Mezzas. They fell out of favour because they were the mob that built the ships like the Javelin and the and the other ships that were used to as the fist of the Mezzas to put people down. And so, whereas other companies may have been in bed with the Mezzas, but they didn't have as dirty a name or as dirty a public face.
Just real quick, so MT Alliance is saying perhaps the Apollo will come at Invictus because the Nursa comes and Jared was playing Inside Starston with the med pens. Those med pens are real pens, like a writing pen, but that is really fat, and they gave one to everyone at CIG. And I'd be willing to bet money they're a form of merch coming.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. And I could see a blue. I could see that being a red pen. And the blue one, the Oxy pen.
It'd be really cool if it was just a like a shell you can clip over on the outside of a pen.
Put a pen in. Yep.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. But I would like. It'd be nice if they were also in the swag for CitizenCon attendees.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure and I know that things get cheaper the more you make of them. And so if you make a whole bunch of them, they become really cheap. And then you sell extras on the stall as well, and yada yada yada.
So I'm gonna
give the blue one away and sell the blue one. Yeah.
So this next question by Hellraiser, I'm going to answer this a little differently than what you're probably going to expect here. He says, what about the SRV having a mining module head instead of the tractor beam with 12 SC of cargo? It could just be a bagger mod. Look, they can do anything they want to do, but that's the problem with having too many variants. Is you get to the point where the water is just muddied because you've got too many ships. I also look at the lineup. That would compete too much with the Prospector. And yeah, they can do anything they want to do, but you've kind of got to sit back and look at the whole lineup as a whole. And a lot of ships, like even this Firebird we're talking about, they're outliers. They don't need them. They're making them just because they're trying to raise money. And they're quick and easy. Variants are quick and easy for them to do. Like essentially, if you break it down, it's you go into Photoshop and you basically change it from a blue skin to a red skin. It's a little bit more than that, but you get what I'm saying. And then you change you copy and paste lines of code from one place to another, and you've taken the QED off a Mantis and you put it on a Firebird, boom, 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 boom. You can see what I mean? Like, it's a quick and dirty job. That's why they do it that way. It's not the same as producing a whole ship from scratch. And they know that, and they know that we know that, right? It's just that they're trying to raise money at the moment for Squadron 42, and I don't think we want variants of every single ship. And and again, I don't think we kind of need one because the prospectors think. Now, Algared, I'll put that off to you. Would you rather an SRV variant, or would you rather a completely new ship? And then again, it also crosses on another ship. So
Yeah. I think there's two aspects that come in. I'm happy for there to be variants of ships, but I don't want every ship to have a variant to be able to do every task.
Yeah.
Because the second you do that, you end up with just this one ship does all.
Kind of like what's happened with the Cuddy Red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want that. You want the variation, and one way to guarantee you get the variation is have ships that are specialised and don't really go into other areas. So the SRV doesn't really go into other stuff, but one or two other ships that might have that. So I truly expect the Crucible to still have that tugboat capability. But will the SRV be a better tugboat? Maybe, so I don't want to see too many ships that are doing that, because I want them to be, I want that plethora of ships. I am going here, I need this, I need this guy with his ship, not you with yours, but I also see the value in having the variations, because that enables people to play the game with their ship the way they want. And so there's this yin and yang and this to and froing of how you build your ships, and I think CIG have tried to balance that. Yeah. But
I think there's I'm thinking the place for that is kind of like what they did with Squadron, where how they had the kind of they've got all those kit bash ships.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I think, where they're a place for them to kind of flare out and do that type of thing, so they can have a few.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that's where Jared got his jalopy idea from. Seeing those kit bash ships, and I'd love to see them enable players to do those kind of kit bash ships down the track, to really go outlandishly on certain things. But again, the second you start doing that, you add into complexity upon complexity, and I always go back to that ISC where they talked, or the Inside Star Citizen or whatever it was back then, when they talked about, when you had the managers on and they talked about building a whale, and everyone's saying, I bought this, this and this, and they said, okay, well, if we do all of this, it's going to take us this long, and if we do this, and the second they started adding the time that it'd take to develop that whale,
it was funny how
you saw people start to go, oh, we don't need that.
Yeah, it was so interesting how quickly they started to compromise. It's almost, I actually think it'd be time for them to do that again as another episode, because we've got, like, what was that, like 2015, 2016?
Yeah.
And it would be really good for some people to see that and
put
in perspective,
and even the time frame that I was saying, like, I remember them saying, we could get this base one done in 6 months, but then if you go the mile with the calf and all the rest stuff, then you're adding an extra another 6 months, and then you've got if you've got harvesters, you're adding even more, and so
and it will also show them kind of how their teams worked and how many people were in a team, and you start to realize very quickly that people are a finite resource. It was very, it was really good to put it all in perspective, and it just there hasn't been another. It was one of the most popular episodes they've ever done too, because people went back and watched it to learn.
It was a very good episode in looking at how game development works, I suppose, and how the managers of game development work, how you put it all together and set your plans. And
it was Sean Tracy and one of the producers, and I can't remember the producer's name.
Davis.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, so there'll be there'll be a VOD around that somewhere if you guys want to go find it. But it goes for about an hour. But if you want to play it in the background, it just teaches you very quickly. You just kind of go, oh shit, it just pulls it all into focus. So
yeah. It was definitely one to look at, and certainly if you're new to Star Citizen and you're wondering why everything taking so long, and why don't they do X, Y, and Z, that's an episode that actually helps game development.
I can tell a few content creators probably need to watch it too. Right, Jose says, with Aegis falling out of favour. No, we've already done that one.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, it's the same one twice. It's just a riot says, I heard you mention last time that this Invictus is 2 weeks. Isn't it only 1 day longer than previously Invictus events?
It's basically the same as last time.
Maybe I'm forgetting. Maybe I'm getting old, right? And I'm just having a senior moment.
That's why you're starting to go grey.
Yeah. Oh man, my beard is shockingly at the moment. Look at it. It's going.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to get out the. I'm gonna have to get out the shoe polish, Algared, and do it all
That's
in,
right.
or some charcoal. Do it caveman style.
Yep.
But yeah. I'm not doing the
Just
Walter White look just yet.
Just remember, God only made so many perfect heads. The rest, He put hair on. Why?
Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
We'll crack a few eggs. Don't worry. Right. John Ski says, "I've got a question. Picture this: the Drake Corsair steel, 6 rows of 5 siege, each replace the cargo hold. Only $999. Oh god. Yeah.
That's evil. Look, I updated my my completionist pack, or my what do they call it, the legatus pack, and I finally bit the bullet because there were certain ships I wanted to actually cull from everything else, and it meant I now have a steel because it was stuck in the pack.
Yeah.
And part of me is considering I should, as you said, CCU it to something else, and then the completionist in me says no, I can't.
Maybe that's one of the ships we could get someone to name for a donation, Algared, or something.
Yes, name steel. Piece of beep. Al's trash heap.
McSteel face. Or something like that. I don't know. That's probably what's going to happen. Yeah, you know that. Anyway, Brick Wool says, Consolidated Outland, small, medium-sized data medical ship or hybrid of these. I tend to go a bit more into like it's like Tesla. They go into things of need. So that's why you've got things like the Nomad and the Pioneer and stuff like that. I think the ships left for them, Algared, are going to be in that industrial vein. What do you think?
I think I'll go that industrial vein. I could see them going more the base buildings / outpost buildings, repair.
Yep. Repair, mining.
More their wheelhouse with the Pioneer. I could see them developing that more into smaller or medium ships. But maybe I'm just full of it. You know, so.
Yeah, I think I do think they've probably skipped on mining, but I definitely think base buildings are obviously in their wheelhouse. The way they talk about it is like out on the fringes and stuff, you know, out on the outer rim if it was Star Wars. So I kind of think of things that would lean into that. So maybe if they've done a Pioneer, maybe they'll do a smaller fabrication ship or something like that. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, it's a tough one to see where that'll go, but definitely they need a lot more ships. They're one of the ones that need more than any other, I think. Charlie McAwesome says, I suspect Alien Week will be in 323X. What's your guys' thoughts on a ship? I'm hoping Relian, but heard anything else. Bonus, think Kraken owners will get Idris loaners. Yeah, I think I do think Kraken owners will get an Idris loaner. I do.
Yep.
I'll be kind of pissed if I don't, quite honestly.
When the Idris is available, yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I could be an ass about it and not, because it's not Drake, I guess. But I think it's only fair to Kraken owners to give it an Idris loaner, personally.
They usually try and get a ship that is in the price point of the ship you've got.
Yeah. Right, as for the Raelian, I would hope to hear an update about it at Alien Week, because we know they started working on it after the Santucky Eye, but I don't think it would be ready in time.
I think we're more likely, as you suggested the other week, we're more likely to get, or suggested in our conversations, that you're more likely to see variants of Sulian.
Yeah. If they were going to do something like that, yeah. Maybe that's the second variant.
Yeah.
Shit knows. I got no idea at this point. Everything's so vague and all over the shop, and this is the problem when you start to do speculation on this. Is you have to try and restrain yourself as much as possible, because quite literally they can do anything, and that's why we kind of lean into the stats and restraining a lot, don't we? We try to restrain it almost as much as possible, because we get to this point where we go, right, no more speculation, don't we? Or we get to that point, because it's just
we try and do that.
That last,
I know people think we don't, but we do.
Yeah, that last 10% trying to get out the little nitty gritty is twice as painful as the previous 90%, and you start to go a bit stir crazy. So you just got to stop and go, right, I'm just going to wait till it's here now. I'm done.
And there's an element where we say don't speculate alone, but there's also an element where we've been doing it so often together.
Yeah.
That us two just speculating by ourselves is almost as bad as just
one person. Yeah.
the two of us doing it alone.
Sometimes. Yeah.
And so it's always good to have a third or a fourth join us with that. So
right, we're down to probably 7 or 8 questions, and we've got 50 minutes left. Hey, Algared, I'm going to go back to bed early.
If you have lots of questions, if you've got a question, I do have a question for Alfacino's mum. Because I'm not sure of the comment. Holland A. Hurston. And also the laughter beforehand. I wasn't sure what that was in context to. So feel free to give us an update on what you were thinking there. Alfacino's mum. I'd be happy to know.
George Smith, I really enjoyed the size and shape of the Apollo. Could you see some non-medical variants coming in the future? They can do whatever they want again.
I would love to see a variant of the Apollo, but I've heard, or I think they've given a hint that they don't intend to do that. But
yeah, same size class as the Constellation, so it's there's just too much shit in that bracket, unfortunately, for that size.
Oh, naming a ship after me. Holland Algared Hurston. Oh, that's Old Man Hurston. Yeah. Okay.
Heath Miller says, question, what is your speculation on the 600i rework modularity coming to the PU? Is it been a couple of years since they announced it and they showed some of the plan changes? I think that's really on the back burner compared to other priorities. Like, talk about a rework and tell people what you intend to do so they can sell more of them, but don't actually commit to it so you can get other shit done. That essentially, that reworks the gold pass when they get around to doing that, isn't it, Algared? Essentially.
Yeah, look, and if we've got someone who's free and who's keen for it, they might let them have a go at it.
I think. Do you think the whole reason they even talked about that is Origin owners tend to spend more than other people? I think that's the whole reason they even talked about it in my book.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe they were saying a mass melting of 600 eyes, and that was the way they comment. Like, there's obviously something that happened in the background that we don't know. Because they haven't talked. Well, they've talked about
600 eye, like the Starfarer's crap.
Yeah. And they've talked about other ships though in the past. Like, they've done updates to the Banner Merchantman a couple of times. They've done, so.
I wouldn't be surprised because it was a fairly, the 600 eye is a fairly big ship, and those changes were fairly big. Like, you look at the size of the MS 600, it had more wasted space than an 890, which is saying something. And I think part of the delay tied in with the senior staff and the moving on, and so the need to retrain up members of a ship team.
True. And again, that's probably one that they haven't worked on in a while. Like, when was the last 400i was the last time we saw, and they held on to that for 2 years.
Yep.
So it's been a while.
And if you've got new staff working on, you've got new staff working on RSI, you've got new staff working on Mirai, you've got new staff working on. If they're not working on Origin, they're not getting the flavour of that language. If they're not working on the Banu, they're not getting the flavour of that language, and so. You actually need to build them up to that ability where, okay, now we're going to get you to do this ship. And so
just for
G12 might be an indication they're going to come back to it, because that means someone's working on Origin's language.
Again, you can put one person on that though, type of thing, because it's smaller. Just for Kishkin's benefit, he's asking about the Aegis Raven possible variant. It's the Aegis Saber Firebird, as hinted by CIG themselves. And we speculated and did a poll with the audience. We think it might be a QED variant, because blue for EMP, red for all the QEDs that we've seen. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. So I hope that updates you can, so you don't have to wait for the. He was saying he was going to have to go back and watch all that stuff, but it won't be up until we finish. So you'd be waiting.
And that kind of says it's not really a Raven. It's a Saber.
Saber Firebird, not a Raven variant. Yeah, absolutely correct.
So And I know lots of people want the Raven, and I
think that's why they're doing it though.
Yeah,
so they can give people
100%.
their
They might
variant.
give it more of a look of a Raven,
Hmm.
and it'd be Raven-esque, but it won't be a Raven.
Maybe that's the compromise. Maybe it's like, maybe it's got one EMP and QED. You know, so it's, yeah, we'll see. We'll find out.
Good.
Right, Qualdum Roma 311 says, "How are you two so amazing? I love all your content. We're just normal guys, man, that love this game.
A natural gift of God, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah, like you said, what is it? All the rest he gave hair, or whatever it was you said earlier.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Only made so many perfect heads. The rest he put hair on.
We just.
So.
We are two regular guys. We just like this game a lot, and we've been following for a long time.
We like talking shit, and we're a good counterpoint to each other. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're any better or any worse than most.
Monster Avery is saying something kind of cool that I kind of agree with. Can you imagine if they do the Fireboard logo black and gold as the concierge skin for it? Absolutely.
Especially if they did it like they did the
if you've ever seen black and gold and red, it looks really good if it's done correctly.
And if they do the interior like they did the
They do a lot of Egyptian themes with black, gold, and red. It looks really good, especially when they want to do like that more evil overtone stuff. It looks really good. So like red highlights.
We did a review of where they did black and red, the concierge version, and that looked absolutely stunning. The interior was all the same.
What ship was this?
I'm trying to remember.
I'm not following.
The F7C or VF8? It was VF8. The civilian version of VF8 and the...
Oh, you mean your one with the gold trim? Now I'm with it. Yeah.
And we went through, and that interior was...
he's not talking about that.
Whole interior and outside.
He's just talking about a skin, but yeah. They do need to start doing skinning more inside.
Yes, it was the F8 Executive, thank you.
Yeah.
But that was really nicely done.
Yeah.
You know, if it's just an out serious slap on skin, but if I do it like I did that executive skin, that was sweet.
Yeah. Right, Rum Runner, how much would you pay for the Drake version of a Retaliator bomber?
Nothing. I don't want one.
Actually, that's kind of interesting. No bomber from Drake. He does have a point.
Well, it is. I kind of think of a bomber being low tech, so you could see it.
Oh, Algared. I just started to think of like a Drake Buccaneer torpedo variant, but it's like a kamikaze pilot. Like it's just a giant torpedo duct taped on the top, and it doesn't even launch. You're just like...
Although before they did that, I would want them to redo our little
the Drake splat. Just
I'd like them to redo the Gladiator, or to bring it up to gold, or do something nice and give it some more love.
That's definitely got to be on the cards though soon.
Oh, it has to be on the cards soon. I live in hope.
So that would have been a good variant too, actually. You know how they talked about way back in the day about it being a bomber and a torpedo?
Yep.
Why don't you do a variant so it's a bomber and a torpedo, you know, so you have both?
Yeah, well, it's just a bay. And there's variants of that carrying cargo and doing other stuff, you know.
Again, though, you can sell it, but then make it in-game so they're switchable, kind of like the Hornet.
Yep.
That's how I would have done it, because then you can sell it as the bomber variant, and then just...
sell it as the bomber variant, and then you swap out the bomber bay and the torpedo bay and the cargo bay, and... But yeah.
Well, and you got to remember, this is all about funding the game, so we're not like encouraging them to like milk us. But if that's how they want to raise funds, you know, that's how they want to raise funds.
Yeah, but I would love to see the Gladiator get some love. It is such a clunky, horrible ship to fly, and yet it is such a wonderful ship to fly. I don't get it. I don't know why I like it so much, but I do.
Yeah, I like it too. It's up. Well, when you and I have been in it, it's like that or the Caterpillar. Like it's just got that unique, clunky, old school. It's like flying in a World War. Like, you know, they said the game's World War II in space. It's a World War I plane.
Oh no, it's still World War Two. It's a World War Two torpedo bomber.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Jack UK says probably been asked or covered before, but what are your 323 and Fleet Week predictions for ships that currently in concept being released? I think we've kind of been over this, but
I think we've kind of mulled over this a bit.
Yeah. And I feel like I don't know about anyone else, but I feel like we've talked it to death, and I don't want to kind of real quick pulse for 323. Obviously the Firebird's coming. You've obviously got the medical Earth, so that's the confirmed stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anything outside that speculation on our part, so like the G12.
And I think we've speculated quite heavily on stuff we think is coming.
So yeah, so if you want to go back and look at that, I don't want to rehash that because we went real deep. Henny Pen says, question, I could see them moving ships from one manufacturer to another because design language on purpose. They have done it in the past. It was the Aegis Terrapin, and it moved to the Anvil Terrapin. You've also got, I want to see more cross-pollination, Algared. You and I have talked about this in the past, like the Starfarer Gemini and stuff like that.
Yep. The rebranding of a Starfarer to be an Aegis ship, even though it's still a...
Well, I even kind of slightly hold out help for the Nurser to be like a working partnership with QLife, and I know Paul brought that up as well. I think he brought up the original idea, actually. I think I kind of stole on that from him, but you get my point, right? I want to see more collaborations, and I don't know. Is there any there that you could see?
I'd like to see more. Well, I'd like to see more collab with companies like I always forget the name. Kruger. I'd love to see more stuff with Kruger. Like their weapon is on the I think it's the Avenger. So their main guns on the Avenger. They did that with Aegis. They did the P-52 with P-72 with RSI. But I'd like to see them do more. I'd like to see more stuff from Kruger.
I guess technically the Ares is that as well, because that's Bearing and Crusader.
It is.
So there has been a few.
But I want to see more. And
well, it makes sense. It's what happens in real life, where you see.
And I still think that the Ares should have been with Kruger.
I don't disagree.
But yeah,
they went with Bearing.
I'm beating a dead horse there.
Arya Cass MD says, who would be the manufacturer of an Imperial Star Destroyer equivalent in Star Citizen? I would have to go Anvil. Because if you look inside the Terrapin and the Carrack, you've got those hexagony type side things. They mentioned RSI, and they would be probably more Star Trek than Star Wars in my opinion.
If you're doing a new Star Destroyer with a triangular shape, then I could see going down the RSI line, but I think Anvil would be the promised Anvil.
The outside is RSI, the inside is Anvil. That might be the other way to do it.
But I could see it being more Anvil because that fits with the Anvil promise of that capital ship. But technically, our Imperial Star Destroyer is actually the Javelin.
Yeah, true.
It doesn't look like it, but that's effectively what it is, and that's one of the reasons why Aegis are so in the bad books with the UEE and the Navy, because or the UEE at least, because they've got such strong ties to the Mezzas and putting down the populace with their big capital ships like the Idris and the Javelin, and trying to do it with the Retaliator. So
Citizen Joel, first time chatter on Twitch, says Perseus almost looks like one from the outside. Like a mini one. I'll give you that. Mini one. Like a little one. Put some water in it, might grow. I don't know. But I can see that. Monster Avery says, question, do you think we will get larger stealth ships? Some, like the Tali and the Pirates, seem quasi-stealth, but haven't really been called stealth. Do you think this is going to be a limited small ship? I always go back to that Corvette you and I and Dyson talked about way back when. And you know how we said like a Mantis. I now think that's what the Drake Corvette could be.
Yeah.
It could be.
And we've often talked about the Tally being stealth ship anyway.
Yep.
Like the Lion's a stealth. It's modelled on some of the early stealth bombers and things that the US had. The shape language says it's made to reflect electrical signals. Front on, it is as small as little dot.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah. And then there are other factors as well.
Yeah. So Trill Wizard on Twitch said, I don't know, Nautilus is pretty wedgy. The Nautilus is a real outlier shape-wise from Aegis. It really is different from anything else. So yeah.
Yeah, it's that flying Dorito style.
Yeah, it is like, it's probably the most triangle ship in the entire game. But it is so different from anything else from Aegis. But it also is not just a Dorito. It also is almost like a pyramid. Because, by the time you put those two thin things that it's got on it for the deploying of the mines...
It very much reminds me of a Tholian ship from Star Trek.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
If you know the old school Tholians. So...
Slayer Bland says, do you think that the Retaliator Gold Pass may have COG rework on the turret? Bloody hope so. So the ship requires less crew, change some remotes. Yeah, we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. Yeah, absolutely, though. Agree with that.
And I really hope they do, that it gets guns and the remote guns work like on some of the bombers of World War II, where they have one gun that trains and the other guns literally follow the same target.
My hope is they cut it down to three people. That's my hope. I don't know if we'll get that, but that's my hope.
3 to 4, because you've got your engineer, your pilot, and then 2 gunners. I could see that.
Yeah. I want 3, so you got to take someone off the turret to put them on an engineer. That's
I could see that being why they'll do it as 3, because they want you to have those choices.
Yeah.
And so you've got to decide. Okay, we're our left side buggered. We're going to swap.
Well, the engineer is probably going to be at the, let's say the bottom turret at the back would be the engineer, and then top at the front, and so the engineer drops off the bottom so you can favour the top. Kind of like what happens in the Redeemer. You know how you got the top and the bottom?
Turrets as remote turrets where they're controlling a bay of turrets.
Do that too. But then again, that works as well.
The whole
Well, because it means if you've only got one person, it's only ever going to be firing in one direction. So as soon as you have 2 ships and they go to either side, that one person can't shoot at both at the same time. So as soon as you put 2 people
on one side of the ship,
as soon as you put a second person back on, you're shooting in both directions. Right. DeJocko says, any predictions for new Invictus skins paint jobs? Ugh. There is some ones of the Pulse out there. But they're all kind of a bit bland. I sent them to you, didn't I? I read at one point. Where are they? Pretty sure I sent them to you. Here we go. So this is that's them there. So I think this one will be the popular one. I got up here. But like 3 grey. This is just a black and blue variant of the racing one. There's a red and so there's 2 for the LX, and then I think there's 3 for the other one. But I think this will be the popular one, the black and gold. I think that's the concierge one, don't you?
I think I'd say that's a concierge one. Yeah. So just so you guys know, we have 6 questions left.
And 30 minutes.
If you want us to stay for until 9 o'clock, we need more questions.
9 o'clock Australian time. It'll be like
so
5 p.m.
We're happy to stay and talk.
Oh, we lost him. He'll be back in a second. All right, I'll go to the next question when he comes back. As for skins, every new vehicle will come with a couple of skins. That's all I can tell you. But again, that patch is not out yet. Whatever they work on from when 3.23 releases to Invictus will be that there'll be another patch very rapidly. A .x patch is going to be pretty rapid. But you can never kind of really tell what they're going to drop. Whatever the ships come, they'll come with skins.
And that date for Squadron 42.
Yeah. So you can tell the Nursa is going to come with a red skin though, just based on the image that they've already released, and I'm pretty sure.
And the backdoor that you showed earlier, yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if the other Ursa skins don't work for it though, considering it's an Ursa variant. So.
Yep, I could see that.
Right. Have you heard of any competitors to the Aegis Vanguard heavy fighter from Heralex? I would expect that the Mirai Guardian may be in that ballpark.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we were talking about that the other day. That's kind of what we expect, based on, and it's just those redundancy of components. That's the thing that struck me with the Saber Raven as well. It has two basically of everything: 2 power plants, two computers, 2 shields, 2. But they're all small. But still, there's a bit of redundancy. Whereas the Vanguard, from memory, had 3 of this or 3 of that, and but yeah, I do want to see more ships like that, because I think that certainly ties in more with that engineering gameplay they're bringing out. So
another question from Heralex, who says, do you have any recommendations for a heavy fighter upon game release? My thought goes to earn it in game, and it's more than likely subject to change between now and release. Algared, I think you'd kind of agree with me on that, wouldn't you? Like, we don't know enough of the heavy fighters, because I'll recommend one now, or Algared would, and it's going to change.
And the problem with the heavy fighters is, at the moment, they're not really in their niche.
They don't have armor. For one, that's a huge.
We don't have armor. We don't have the benefits of their redundancy of systems, and so that changes. So the really heavy fighters, and I think that's what you're talking about when you're talking about the Vanguard, the long distance heavy fighters that can take a beating and come back. They're not in their area where they're at their best yet, and so. Yeah, I think we haven't seen them at their best.
Yeah. The only one I can think of right now that me and Algared enjoy a lot is the Hurricane. Me and Algared love that thing. But again, you add time and all that. Like, right now, the Hurricane is way smaller than the Scorpius. But that's because you're going to hit that thing and it's just like a glass cannon. They literally talk about it being a glass cannon in the whole concept of it. And where the Scorpius has a bigger footprint, obviously it's going to be able to take more damage. So.
Eli, you're not actually keeping me up, because it's morning. It's the same time for both of us, which is why we're always on together.
Yeah.
But you saying that for some reason made my mind go back to, I had a video I made for one of my classes where I used a star system backdrop on my green screen. And I really have to redo the video, because every time I use that video, 90% of my class, certainly the boys, they sit there and they're just distracted from it's just a little me in the corner talking. But they don't listen to what's happening on the video. They don't pay attention to the lesson, because they're just saying, what's that background? What's that turn? It's just a green screen. What's in your office, sir? It's just a green screen. It's just a green screen. And then...
Can you imagine what they'd be like with something like this? They'd be like, "Wow, where are you? What are you doing?" I've actually done Skype calls.
Vanguard, to be honest.
I've done Skype calls with this, and people are like asking me, "Where are you?" I'm going, "I'm in a secret facility. I can't tell you."
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite bizarre. I really have to redo that video. It's such a distraction for my students, and that usually gets half of them say, "Have you got a gaming channel?" I say, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Can we join? No.
Right.
Why not? I don't need you. Go away. Leave me alone. So yeah, one of these days they'll invade our channel.
Right. Lyrium says, "Do you think the Retaliator base could double in price?" I don't think it would double. And it's technically already kind of out. I think they're more, again, if you take the base and add the modules, you get to the price of where it's at. But that said, all ships are eventually going up in price. they've talked about this for years. Can it get some kind of price increase? Absolutely. I picked up a base CCU just because of that reason.
Yep. I could see once the modules are out, they actually sell, rather than the base, they sell for one equipped with the cargo pods, one equipped with the group pods, one equipped with the living spaces, and that's how you'll get your different price points. But that's speculation on my part.
Yeah.
But yeah, do with that what you will. Kishkin.
Ignore a repeat of any news on ship price increases for real dollars for Invictus. I don't get that context.
Yeah, well, I think we'll get some price increases if there's any, on new ships or variants, but generally, I haven't heard of anything in the works to say something that's already out is getting a price increase.
Yep. Right, I'm going to close off the bot now. We've probably got another 10 questions there now.
Yep.
So
now, if you want a question, unfortunately, if you're on YouTube, the only way is to super chat us because that will bring it to our attention. Not that we're saying super chat, but whenever they are super chatted, they pop up big screen, so we don't miss it. I have no idea what it'd be on Twitch. If you want a question that's burning and must be answered because I don't know. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, JCH goes, what combat style do you think they need to make more ships for, or a ship you wish they had competitors for? Algared, I'll let you take that one first.
I would say they need more e-warfare ships, and that means they need to get that working. They won't get that working until they've got the gameplay. A ship I'd like to see them do more competitors for is actually the Gladiator, and I'd like to see it as a bomber variant. I'd like to see it actually get all the features they originally talked to have it, and that would be a ship I could see more variants being in, because we've got bombers, but we don't really have the small bombers, and that's what I think we need.
And I agree, we don't have enough e-warfare in that regard. I think the only kind of two hints at e-warfare is obviously the Sentinel and the EMP missiles on the Defender. That's it. I think the other ones are ones that we've had little snippets of, so like farming, agriculture, big game hunting, cooking, more of the smaller shopper ships. So there's a whole plethora of ships still to come that have all been hinted at.
Yep.
Or a ship that you wish you had a competitor for.
Say what combat ships they need to make more of. So
I did say combat, didn't he? Yeah. Or a ship which had a competitor for. I did a competitor, the Redeemer, called the Anvil Reaper. I kind of made that one up in my head, but yeah. So yeah, I'd like another gunship that's not, I guess we've kind of got a little bit in the Corsair and a little bit in the Connie, but yeah, I don't know. I'd like another. There's a lot of people unhappy with the Redeemer, right? And that came out when. So there's an episode me and Algared and Paul did called "Can You Fix It, Redeemer?" But we've never released it because it was kind of waffly, and we've been trying to redo it for like 6 months, but we just all
can't get a time when all three of us.
Lately, because it's just on the back burner because we've got other episodes we want to do. But we will get around to doing it. But what came out of that episode was clearly like everything Algared and Paul had against the Redeemer. You could just chuck that into another ship and it would fix all the problems. And I just went, yeah, I've got no problem with there being a second gunship. That's great, And again, where the Redeemer's kind of like, this tanky, slow one, you can go into one that's faster. It's like a really quick, zippy drop off type thing. So you can make it different. So we'll see what happens. Maybe not. Riverland says, I saw the Idris P in game as an NPC ship. Do you think there is any chance COG will release the Idris early? Algared, you know what I'm going to say, so I'll let you answer that one.
Wasn't it an Idris P or wasn't it Idris M that you saw in game?
Irrelevant. Idris. We'll just call it Idris and leave it at that. I actually think it was an Idris M because it's got the big cannon. But will they release the Idris early? They've always said they wanted to release it with Squadron 42. We know the Idris is ready. I think there's two things that are going to hold it up. One, server mission, and they've done some headway into that recently. Yeah.
Two, Squadron 42.
Yeah, it's Squadron 42. And like when the Redeemers dropped, not the Redeemer, the Reclaimers dropped, it just killed servers. That's the same. It's the same reason you can't have the Polaris. Same thing you can't have the Aegis, because we just don't have server meshing.
If they get server meshing going, I think it's very close. The fact that we both, or I certainly think that CitizenCon is the announcement of Squadron 42, or actually it's either the announcement of the date for next year, or it's actually the actual launch of it. I wouldn't be surprised if I had to say when they were going to release the address. I'd say then, if they get server meshing.
Well, again, they're planning for 4.0 around that time, so it could be both in one hit.
Yep.
You know,
so I could see that. That would be my guess.
2 salvos. So yeah.
So yeah.
Benjamin Frick. We can skip that one. You just said question. Destro says, how do each of you plan to make your money when 3.23 launches? It's a great thing about being a content creator. You just get on and people have thrown money at you. I don't know why, but people do.
I think you're talking in game.
No, that's what I meant. Like in game, people just throw me credits. I don't know why. But no, generally I just like doing, like I usually get in a Redeemer and do the bounty hunting stuff. That's usually what I do. But I don't know. I don't really need to do a lot.
I just play the game. I do what I want to do, and if I loot this and I loot that, and if I go salvage this, and I'll just do what I want. And if I make money, I make money. If I don't make money, I'll scrounge for a while and do something cheap and nasty until I've got enough to do what I want.
Yeah, it's pretty well known too. I tend to stick to the test servers, so I tend to lose a lot of what I do. I only ever really go on live to do events or hang out with friends and stuff like that. So yeah, I spend most of my time on the test servers. So yeah. Red Monster SC, good to see you, mate. What are your thoughts on CRG announcing a particular wipe rather than going for a full wipe with 323? Should CRG have wiped Alpha UEC brought ships? I think they're just trying to appease people.
I think that's all they're trying to do, appease people and get used to the fact, people, there's going to be wipes. And there's going to be a wipe before it goes live, and before they decide the big launch.
Every patch that the ETPU has dropped, which has been almost every day, it's been wiped. So you got to go through the content, the character creator. You got to go back to your landing zone. You got to go back from the hab. You got to go out. You got to do all of it from the start every single time.
I know it's frustrating as hell. I know it's frustrating as hell. I know if you wipe your credits, it's frustrating because you've got to start your bank again. I know that if they wipe the ships, you've got to go and buy them again. I actually think when it's something where they've reconfigured the actual price of ships, where the ship prices are being changed so dramatically, where you've got the flight model being changed so dramatically, you've got the combat system being changed dramatically, it makes sense to do a complete wipe. Now I know there's people who'll complain and get their knickers on and suck it up. You're in a test environment, even on the live. You're testing the game. It's not ready yet, but wiping everything enables them to say, okay, this is how long it's taking people to earn this, and it's putting everyone on the even keel. Yeah. So what if people have bought all the ships previously outside with cash? They're avoiding the grind. That's the privilege I suppose they've paid for. Does it make them any better at a pilot? Nope. So
just to let you guys know that are writing questions, I will try and answer a couple of them that you put in now, but the question bot is turned off. So the one other question that I've just noticed was, with all the work on AI and advancements with Squadron 42, how long do you think it will be for us to start seeing drones, Carrack, Vulcan, or mines, Nautilus? And that comes from JCH. I think when I talked about the Apollo, that's probably where we think the drone will first be seen. So you'll come in with med beds, and then they'll do the drone for it after.
Yep. And the thing with the Apollo, it's probably the one ship with drones, apart from, say, the Reclaimer and the Carrack, which have also got drones, but can be in game, but doesn't need the drones to be able to do its gameplay. The Vulcan must have drones to do its repair. I suppose the Crucible could do it, but it's not even built. But but all the other ships, the Nautilus needs its drones for mines, but yeah. So in terms of ships, I think the Apollo would be the best one to do, and then because it's a fairly more simplistic drone than the others, that would be where we'd start with the drone manufacturer.
So there's one more question by Lyrium. Long story short, he's asking about AI at landing zones. If you go into any of the hangars right now, you can see all the spawning closets. You can you can see the cargo bays where they're going to bring stuff up. You can see the drones that are going to repair your vehicle. Go have a look, walk around your hangars and have a look. It answers a question for you straight away.
You can see the closets where the guys who are going to come out and help load your ships come out from.
And there is more than one, so probably more than likely the people you hired will come out of one, and the people actually doing the loading, as Algared said, will come out of another. So go have a look around and look look at different sizes, and you'll see that they've got different things. Benjamin Frick says, with the focus on ground vehicles lately, how is COG going to encourage players to use them outside of combat missions, i.e. why drive when you can fly? So, first off the bat is we know Chris is a big fan of Battlefield, right? So you can see that Battlefield gameplay if you've ever played that. They're going for those big battle-y type things. Secondly, as into why would you drive when you can't fly? Well, obviously there are places vehicles can go that planes can't or ships can't, right? Underground bunkers are now a thing. Caves are a thing. We saw in the CitizenCon demo, Algared, was it some kind of radio thing? That one?
Yep. There was one years ago. There was an electronic storm. They couldn't go to the area where they were trying to explore. They had to land and then take the vehicle out. So
massive blizzard like we saw around Microtech. That you can make up any reason, really.
Just think of the animals. You're going on an animal to get the copium. The copium's in the jungles, in the forest.
Trees.
You can't see it down on the ground through the forest, so you've got to take your vehicle in.
Yep, absolutely. And again, even just looking at vehicles in particular, it shows you that certain vehicles are crossing each other off. Just on what Algared said, you might want to take a hover bike because, say, an Ursa or a Storm won't fit through the trees. You know, so they can refine it down again. Oh, you can get a pulse into that cave, but you can't get a grey cat. So you can see straight away they can tailor everything to it to what. And
you can see like a pulse. You know, you could pulse in with its fast firing gun. Take it into a cave. Yeah, you can take out those cats fairly quickly, but then they can also still get you because it's not a closed cab.
It's that whole right tool for the right job thing again, because again, you could take a Titan suit, but it might be really good combat-wise, but it's going to be slow as shit compared to a Dragonfly. But then you go into a smaller area, and you don't want to take the Dragonfly because it can't turn around properly in the corridors, but a Titan suit will be able to do that. Right tool for the right job.
It might be slow, but you'll be able to do that turning and stuff. So, it's horses for courses. So...
that's something I also hope we probably see at CitizenCon or sometime this year, is a little bit of an update to Titan suits. Now that they know how much we like them as you know, backers.
What I would like to see linked to Titan suits is actually an update and tightening the rules on what armor you can wear while piloting a ship or driving a vehicle, and so you've got to be, you know, if you're riding your Ursa, you've got to be out of your heavy armor and drive it. And then you go to a cupboard and take your heavy armor out and put it on before you leave.
Don't know what ship, but I'll give away a decent ship, like a plus $100 ship. The best Algared as a Warhammer character. It'll be so good. Can you see him as a custody? Algared custody.
Well, I got told, a student told me yesterday that I look like Thomas Shelby.
Oh,
I'm horrified by the fact because I said, "What are you doing watching Pinky Blinders?" And someone else called me, said I look like a Fremen.
Yep. If we get 10 Algared as like a custody or Warhammer things, we'll look at them next week and I'll give away a ship. Depending on how many we get. So yeah, if I get 10, and you can just chuck them in the Discord or PM to me or get them to me, however you want to get them to me. But yeah,
Dominus, because you are a sick person, you wanted Hagrid as a pin-up girl.
Oh, we could just open it wide open if you want, like just Photoshop Algared if you want.
Old Man Hurston.
Mm-hmm.
Old Man Hurston's fan club. Yeah.
I could see Old Man Hurston as a Warhammer
Old
thing
Man
there.
Hurston fan club. That's right. He's a
And have a
public
nice
face.
line, like a line on it, or a phrase that makes it funny. Right, Adam, is there a lore explanation for master modes? Why ships have to choose between weapons and speed or quantum? It's just got to do with the gameplay, man. At the end of the day, they want World War II in space. That's what they want.
Can I think of a lore reason why? Absolutely. The reason why your shield's cut off is because shields chew up heaps of energy.
Well, they've got the power and battery thing now too, don't they?
Yep.
So yeah.
But shields chew up power. That's why air shields were only ever supposed to be on capital ships and stations.
I got a better Lord reason. Lord Robert said so. You know.
Yep. But you know, so the fact that shields chew up so much power, if you're trying to go faster, then you have to divert power from the power-hungry shields to use to support the power-hungry engines that are trying to drive you faster and power up your quantum drive. Perfect answer there.
Chris Bates says, question, are either of you Machinima fans? If so, where do you see it going in the future with Star Citizen? I like any kind of creative outlet.
I do.
But it does take a certain skill level to make the really good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. You've got to be able to grab me with something, and like I often get asked like, "Oh, who's your favorite band or whatever?" And I don't have a favorite band. Whatever song is good, I like. So I can't say I like all of Machinima. I'll just like that particular one or whatever, you know. So yeah, Algared, your thoughts on Machinima?
Yeah, look, I like it when it's good. I've seen some really crap stuff. I've seen some really good stuff. I've seen it done for other games. I've seen it done for Star Citizen. Can I make it myself? Nope. Do I like it? Do I appreciative of the skill that it takes to make even the crap stuff? Yep. So.
What about the future of it in Star Citizen? Because I think it's going to be more and more common.
What I've seen of it in Star Citizen, you can just see it becoming more and more. And the more they make Star Citizen feel real and living, I think the more you'll see it.
Especially with the FOIP stuff, it makes it a lot easier for people to animate stuff and things like that. And FOIP has been really good, like just the in-game voice, not necessarily the mouth movement, but the in-game voice has been really good in 3.23. So yeah.
And so I think as they develop it, and as it gets better, it's only going to get it's only going to improve. I do see a comment and question from Sam Groper, and I'm gonna chuck because he's our Western Australian buddy who is several hours behind us, so you know he's getting up at our start time now. But his question is: if the Copian is a cat dog, will it chase after laser pointers? That made me chuckle. So if you've got a laser pointer and barrel a gun and you move it, will it make it chase after the laser pointer? Will the cat take over?
It'd be funny if you could like laser point in before they've reacted to you and make one attack the other. Have you ever seen that with a cat? Like you put a laser pointer on one cat and the other cat just goes straight at it. Like it's that could be funny. Start a fight like as a distraction.
So the question is, does the cat take over the dog or the dog take over the cat?
Yes.
In its personality.
Yes.
So I could see, given that my memory of who's that bad guy? The Vanduul are cat-like. That could almost be a native animal of the Vanduul.
Yeah.
Their cat, their dog,
and it's kind of does look a little bit that actually. Now you bring it up, yeah.
You know, it reminds me a bit, and it kind of reminds me of that Klingon dog thing. So yeah.
Kishkin says, question, thoughts on whether they will allow us to have some of these new animals as pets in the future? Well, pets are a stretch goal, so...
Pets are a stretch goal, that's right.
I can't see why not eventually all animals of all types. Makes it lot less work for them. Already done in one area, why would you... Yeah. Seems like a given to me.
Yeah, Revlin says that voice acting makes or breaks a Machinima. So...
Yeah, absolutely. And scripts, I would say scripts make it as well. You know. Yeah, so pets here are good. Absolutely.
Sorry?
Pets?
Pets, 100%.
Yeah.
Pets are coming. You know, stretch goal. I want them. We'll get them.
Right. Heath Miller says, with the Fleet Week MPUV, could it be that the utility that is shown be the upscaled version of the military multi-tool, all tools in one, and depends on the module attached is what you maybe it does have some other stuff in it, but it looks like a tractor beam to me.
Yeah.
And once you add a tractor beam, do you need the repair arm? I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question.
I think when they originally thought, or the original design was claw and torch. So the idea is it could do repair, it could cut people out of capsules, etc. I can see the change to use a tractor beam just because it makes less moving parts.
Yep.
Could use your repair tool for that as well. Yeah, I could see a repair tool going in and being clicked on.
Because can't you just use the guns on it to essentially shoot the cut?
Oh, it doesn't have guns. MPUV has no weapons at all.
Okay.
And then the module you put on the back also decides what it can actually do. I know we've seen pictures years ago of MPUV search and rescue capsule first aid.
Well, even if you go back to the silhouette video, Algared, it didn't have the tractor beam on it. It had those little arms that you and I remembered. So yeah.
I don't think it had tractor beam, but it certainly had space where it looked like their arms. But yeah, I don't see a problem with a tractor beam. I miss the idea of the arms, but I can fully understand why you wouldn't do it. It's so yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to do the last question, Algared?
Yeah. Last question is from Herolix. Sorry, I was reading chat. Someone was saying we sounded low. I thought we sounded pretty good.
We're just tired. That's all.
Yeah, I think I certainly could feel my voice starting to fade a bit earlier.
Sitting under these lights too, and you got to remember we're mentally thinking a lot, so it's a bit different from sitting back just playing the game and being cruisy. We're constantly
we're actually mulling over the thoughts and trying to think answers. That's why sometimes we pause as we're answering and talking. So.
So they said you guys never shut up. That's what.
Yeah. Herolix says, when the Endeavour finally gets to the point of being released, what do you think the final price will be? Oh, God.
About this much? About this big?
Yeah, about that much.
Yeah,
I would say at least, it's if you look at the base cost of the Endeavour, it's $350 for no modules. And then you look at the module, the ones they put out with the Olympic, the Hope, and the Discovery. That gives you a rough price range with those components on. But I could see that easily doubling and tripling in price. Look at the Hull C. That was a ship at the same price as the Endeavour. Look at the Reclaimer. Sorry, that was the same price as the Endeavour. They are now significantly more in price, and that's the bare minimum of what the Endeavour has to increase by. I can't see it not increasing more than that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a tough one because you're trying to go really far down the line to something that's going to be so far away. Look, I think knowing what happened to the Hull C, I think you and I would agree it's at least going to double in price.
Yeah.
And it really depends on how big it ends up growing. And if it goes to what we kind of saw, what was the minimum of what was 420? It was slightly shorter than the Kraken.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of other ships in that size class. You've essentially, it's got to be like around a Banu Defender minimum.
In the same ballpark.
So
has to be.
You're looking at final price of at least $750 minimum, right? And then I just don't see it. Yeah, it's $750 minimum. $750 minimum.
And I could see it having the base variant having, say, a price of $750, even though it's as big as a Kraken, because it doesn't have all components. But when you add the components in, when you add those modules, it'd push it up into that same price point.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key there. So sorry, Michael Phillips. It does look like you're the only one with the volume problem as well. So
yeah.
So our apologies that you've got sucky volume at the moment. And that was our last question. So,
yep.
And it's 9:05.
Yep. I was just looking to see if there's anyone here we can raid.
So you're just looking for some of the raid.
Yeah. I think we'll raid Yo-Yo Meg because I said I was going to do that last week, but then we did someone else. So we'll raid Yo-Yo Meg. So yeah. Thank you everyone on Twitch. YouTube say goodbye to Twitch. Twitch say goodbye to YouTube. Oh, my tongue is all tied. Right.
Yep, I know how it feels.
Yeah. Thank you for all the bits and bobs and all that. We'll probably get an episode out this week. Might be on ship stuff. Me and Aaron will talk about it. We'll see. All right. With that, then. See you later, Twitch. Man, my mouse pointer is not working. See ya. And they're gone. Yeah. See, I was getting ready to say they're gone, but I couldn't get my finger on the button, Algared. Oh, and then you dropped out. Right. Wait. Okay. No, wait. Wait. Alright, so we just rated. Right, cool. That's right. Cool. So she's rated. All right.
Wait for Squadron 42.
Yep, cool. Right, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you to everyone that went that extra mile at the end of the video on the end of credits on Patreon. Thank you again for all your help.
And other stuff, again, or as we say, every time we get them. Never expected, never acquired. Always appreciated.
So I'll probably put up a community post too. I should have said this before Twitch. Threw Twitch off too, but I probably might put up a community post on YouTube and see how many people are interested in us doing a 24-hour live stream. Just to get that last bit get us over the line.
So live should be coming today. Tonight is official, apparently, from Shrimpmaster as he's finishing off.
So
we are expecting.
So what is it now? It's roughly would it be roughly 5 p.m. in New York, or just past 5? So they're saying tonight. That's in the next little before 10. So in the next 5 hours? Okay, cool.
Yep.
Good to know.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to join tonight.
Yeah,
I've got a birthday party I'm attending for a friend.
Yep.
Now my friends are all hitting that 60 mark, so it's I'm old.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our friend. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Wink. A wink. A wink.
I've got one.
Yeah. You've probably got 10 knowing you, old man Hurston.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Right. What was I going to say? Total strength. I may stream. We'll see. We'll see what happens with 323. If it comes out at a decent time, I've got to go have a nap though. I'm too sleeping at the moment, Algared. You know I'm doing that at the moment because of the way things go.
Yep.
So I got to go get a sleep and when I wake back up. All right. Is there anything else you want to add? Anything you want to hear in the comments, Algared? Nope.
Nope.
All right. He's been Algared.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens.